information. Tudo Spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon radio station. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moreover, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Funjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep on grudging like my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba. What I want? Yes, man, you back today. Spoon TV. Yes, man, you back today. Spoon TV. Spoon.
Well, folks, good evening. Okay. Good evening and a pleasant welcome. If you're just joining us, this is Spoon Talk. And coming up next is your favorite conversation. And let me bring in Dr. Richardson while we await the rest of the guys to join us.
James, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay, Dr. Richardson. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's very cold and a little bit of rainy over here. Rain stopped, but it's a good day for fufu and soup.
You know, he had a message soon.
I'm talking about
fufu in the
I
channel.
know, right? Yes, so that was the secret. Wazi will be joining us here. He's a panelist here. He was here, I believe, yesterday. He put a picture of fufu and soup in the chat room and just kind of triggered. I do have soup that I cooked, just all fish, dry fish soup. I didn't put any meat in there at all. And so I will be eating. He kind of triggered me to want to have fufu and soup. So, but all is well. How your end?
Well, my end is okay. I spent the entire day home, so I don't even know how the weather looking. I didn't even step out, so I don't know.
How outside? You know how outside looking, huh?
I don't go out. I
Need
spend
to
it.
let you copy after me because when I get my house, I don't like to leave. I don't think I've been outside I had a doctor's appointment that I went out for, but that was about it.
I only get out. I only get out if I have to go buy something in the market. That is to go out to buy something or to go to school, or we have an appointment. Someone and I have an appointment to do. But besides that,
sure. I know.
I think since I entered here, the last time I came from school was on Thursday. Since Thursday, I have not stepped out.
Yeah, I see. Sometimes you just get set in your ways, and then you just kind of.
As long as I have food in, I don't go out.
Yeah, man, I got plenty of work to do. That what keeps me in. I got a lot of reading reports, grading dissertations, grading papers, meetings. So sometimes when I wake up in the day, I do that quickly to get up on the show so I can be ready for the show. So that's what keeps me busy. And then of course there's mother work. A mother's work is never done. I gotta see my children, my grandchild. I gotta make sure husband
He come
okay.
here. He also be coming also.
Yes, no, actually we're putting to sleep. He just asked for battle so gay. We mine want him battle because he 2 years old, she said no more battle, but me I don't stick the battle in there. I don't spoil him, I'll admit to that. And then but anyway, he will come soon. But where is Aaron? And we're gonna have a panelist today from Morovia, Mr. Lami Kakor. And I hope I'm saying Pakor. Pakor, I think I'm saying his name correctly. He's going to be joining us today from Morovia. He's going to be adding his thoughts to, the discussions we'll be having here tonight. So I'm happy to have him. And I'll ask you guys to please welcome Counselor Lami Pakor. Aaron's going to be joining us on James.
Yeah, Aaron will soon be joining us. The traffic block him from coming soon, so he's on his way.
Okay, Aaron will be joining us, and the other panelists, our usual panelists, will be here tonight. And we're going to be having a series of discussions about what's the trending issues in Liberia. You know that you join us on this network to just get the news in Liberia from different perspectives. And obviously, we all will not agree. Some people are here, they are, very good with being a propagandist, which is okay. Some people are here to tell the facts. Like I'm here, very objective. I don't have people in Liberia.
Really?
Yes, I
You
go.
don't
I
have side?
say that again.
You don't have side?
I have a side, but what I want to say, I don't have people like feeding me information at will. So, and even if I did, I maintain my objectivity. Even I remain constant. I support one person, and you know who that person is. So yeah, you can fish a fish all kind of ways. You can twist it from here
But
to counter
but
James.
in the media, as long you have a side to support,
Mhm.
or you stand with one side, uh, generally your neutrality has been compromised. I don't know how you want to, anyhow you present yourself, your neutrality is already compromised.
I tend to. I can see where you're coming from, James, but I tend to agree. Remember now, my role. Remember, I have to training as a psychologist. I have to, and as a professor, so I have to be objective all the time. I can't just come and just say things that are supported by facts. You know, yes, I do have a preference. I have a preference that okay, if Mr. Cummings wins, I believe that Liberia will be on the path of change. And I can say that because of in my mind, the way I support that theory is I see the work that he has done in his past experience. I have talked to him and given everything that he said to me, his plan, his vision. It makes sense to me. Now, that doesn't mean that if he does something or says something that I disagree with, that I'm just going to be all praises and all. No, that's not what objectivity means. If I hear something that I disagree with or a policy that I disagree with, he definitely will hear me disagree with it. So yeah. And then, when you're in therapy too, clients will come in there. I've worked with people who have murdered people, who are psychotic, people who have raped people. I have to tell them, what you did in society is antisocial, is not correct. But I respect your rights to want to seek empathy. I respect your rights to be guilty about this. I respect your rights to not be guilty about it because for whatever reason, not to have empathy for the people that you hurt. But I still have to be there as the therapist. I'm the therapist in the room. I'm the adult in the room. I'm the authority. So I have to understand where that person's coming from. So it's something that it's very complex. Like a lot of Liberian people, and I don't pass judgment on people because you never know what people's situations are. I maintain my own. If you really want to know how I feel, talk to Mr. Richardson because he's the one that I empty out on at the end of the day. Like I'll say, this happened, this show, that happened. This is how I feel. But that's who I empty out to. But we struggle with that in our culture. This whole idea of we already want to pass judgment. This person is this person is that. I'll never, no, I keep my boundaries. And you know why? Because when you work hard, James, and it's a message and lessons for you and many others, and you can pay your own bills, support yourself, you can, you don't have need for materialistic things. Then you can feel free. You feel content to speak your mind, and you don't like, I don't have to rely on other people. So that's my point that I'm trying to make. So anyway, that's enough speech from my end today. Enough of my, talking. Before I forget, I want to say my cousin has her birthday today. Eunice Harris. Happy birthday to you. She watches us, and I was invited to the party, but because of different reasons I'll discuss with you later, I can't make it. So I'm really, really sorry that I cannot be there today. I know you're not watching today because you're probably entertaining and preparing for the party, but I'm sure you're going to be watching tonight. Just know that I love you as a family member, and sorry that I couldn't be there. But Mr. Richardson and I we're making time to come and spend an entire Saturday with you. So thank you so much for all that you do. And I know the food will not be easy. I can cook. I'll miss some food there today. But anyway, I'm waiting for you, James, to tell me the training issues, because I was waiting for Aaron a little bit. I think he's still running late.
Yeah, Aaron will be joining us today.
I'm still waiting for Council Lamin to come on. But tell me, what are some of your training issues going on from your end? And then we're going to welcome our guests, our audience as well. Our audience. That's what I wanted to say. I was distracted a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Today is Saturday. Both the newsmakers and the journalists were okay. Aaron is here. Let me get Aaron on. Let Aaron begin.
Okay.
Aaron, what's your story? You know what come on?
Yeah, Aaron trying to get it set together, man. Aaron, sorry you're late, huh? The traffic was plenty.
You are muted. Your mic is close.
I'm okay now, right?
Yeah, you
Wow.
go.
You all right? How you doing, Aaron? You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Take a deep breath.
Rest, relax yourself
Take
a little.
a deep breath.
Yeah, cool. You see, James been pulling for a long time. You know exactly. Look at something what a teacher can tell you in the class, right?
Yeah,
Learning some new things.
Yeah. So, Aaron.
Yeah, man.
You all right?
I'll get back to you.
Okay, no worries. Take your time.
Get
Get
distracted.
settled in. Yeah, let Aaron get settled in, man. We don't want to rush him, James. Let him take that. What's going on in the country? I'm just, I'm reading something, James, and I think it's important that I just stop we have some time today. I'm reading some people say, Dr. Richardson, you support this person or that person, so you lost your objectivity. I find that very interesting. I can support somebody, but that doesn't mean that I've lost my objectivity, okay? All humans, it's just human to have a preference. That's what it is. But when you lose your objectivity, means that anything, you're a praise singer, okay? Or you coming from a place of personal issues, like you expect something in return, your support. So you lose your objectivity because you are motivated by other causes, other reasons. I was saying here today, maybe the reason could be money, fame, or I don't know, other things. But in my case, I'm not, yes, I do support Musa Ability. He's a friend of mine. I support Alexander Cummings, but I don't just blindly support them. Yes, I would tell them if.
Yeah. So I think I reason with you. That is why even in journalism training or in mass communication, they would tell you. I think it is like that in every profession. The lawyers, the judges, everyone. If you are supporting somebody, and there is a serious discussion regarding that person, and you are to form part of that thing, basically, in order to remain neutral, to maintain recuse yourself.
That's true. That is very true. So that's what ethics come into play. We always
Yeah,
tell our students to, if something is, against your values or is troubling you, you basically can just excuse yourself from the activities, but that's true. But it has to get to the extent where your judgment is going to be influenced by that person.
yeah. Like in journalism, they will tell you if your that is your relatives or whoever is involved into a situation, and you as a journalist, you need to report. Just give the story over to Aaron. Aaron will run with the story, and then you sit back and watch because
That's
it doesn't matter how you report that story. The audience will never believe you. They will say, but our Jim uncle, our Jim man, our Jim girlfriend, what did you say?
No, you're right. And that's why
Yeah.
you see, that's what, like, I can't treat my family members. I cannot.
Never.
I cannot provide therapy. That's why you can't cover your family members'
No,
story.
I can never cover any of my family members, even if they are involved into murder or whatever, God forbid. I'll put my hands up, another person get into it. I can't. You will never see me talking about my family members because that love is there. I can't do it.
Yes.
I can never.
Yes.
Yeah, so like
Mhm,
what I was talking about,
mhm,
today is
mhm.
Saturday. More things are not happening, but Senator Prince Johnson is not forgetting about himself. He's still around and making news on his own. I never knew Senator Johnson is a follower of soccer, specifically European soccer. I thought he's just one BBC, born before computer, who would just go to the Senate, go preach, and forget about everything. I mean, if I get his DSTV, his B screen, his house where he watching football game every day, he's up to date. So today, Arsenal play, right?
Mhm.
Arsenal played today, and there was this said that if Arsenal was going to win today, it means that the Premier League was going to continue until the last day. But if Arsenal was going to lose, the Premier League was going to end right there. That is, Man City was going to win the title. So I never knew the senator was watching the game. As soon as the game ended, he took the game straight to President Weah. Let me just get it up very, 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 very fast.
Mhm.
He took football to President Weah. He said, this government, it's like the Arsenal team. Everyone was expecting them to win the League Cup, but see where they are today. October 10th, we will decide. So, just for our audience, this is from his official page,
Yeah.
from the official page of Senator Prince Johnson. As soon as the football game ended today, he interpreted the football game into our politics. This is what the senator said today, right after his game. This government, it's like the Arsenal team. Everyone was expecting them to win the League Cup, but see where they are today. October 10th, we will decide their fate. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So,
The
and
sermon will not be
Arsenal,
easy. The sermon will not be easy tomorrow. There'll be
yeah, he
politics
also said
after.
his service will be hard because he's going to be responding to the current vice president. And Representative Yeke Kolba called me about an hour or two ago. Uh, I think he just watched the recording. He called me. He was like, coming all after me. I said, but Representative Yeke Kolba, I hope you not forget, this is Jigude Flumula, not the vice president. He said, I know, but I got it ready. So we should expect a very rough encounter with him when he returned to the country. He's currently in Ghana visiting his family. He said he's going to tell the Liberian people who the vice president is. I don't know how he's going to do it, but we should expect that. He called me today, giving his side of the story. I said, no, don't give me your side now. When you get back to the country, you can tell the country people. The thing is telling me that two of us there, so don't expect me to say what you say. He said, okay, when I go like I'll tell my own thing. In fact, and I get time for you. He call your phone. Yeah, you know how you get taught. They call me attacking me like I don't want to say the vice president. You see, I tell you, yeah, that when you just getting you are looking ugly like that, you like people are telling you Martin, then you don't want to. I said, but yeah, what did they want to do with me again? He said, if I come and call your boss man, I'll tell your CEO, I'm telling you, Martin, you don't want to anything. I said, but yeah, and I get fish to fry in you and your vice president team and your mom. So we should expect Representative Kolba with a rough return. So basically, I think everyone will
So,
get
James,
it.
I just want to mention one thing before you go on. You see how you had the ability to compartmentalize that you told Yeke, yes, I'm a journalist. I will listen to what you have to say, but
Yeah,
you can report what you have to say to the Liberian people when you get to Liberia.
yeah,
You guys, without any fussing, you laugh at him as he talked and you explain it
yeah.
with, with fun. That is the ability that we need to exercise. People say, how can you support someone? This person got involved in this and got involved in that. You have to have the ability to compartmentalize. There's certain things that we'll see eye to eye on, and then there's certain things we'll not see eye to eye on. I said boundary. Your boundary that you said to Yeke was go to Liberia, tell the Liberian people what you mean. I'm James Gute from Lofa, the one that you call me that used to look bad before but looking all right now. Okay.
And Yeke went to all the places today. How I used to go to a hall. I be saying that was as if Yeke that talking nobody hearing you. That wouldn't be.
You see? So now and that's what we need to do, direct our attention to what is important for our country instead of carrying small news everywhere. And it's just really interesting our mentality, our mental set. Anyway, did you have more to say? Good day before before Aaron comes on.
Yeah, I think so far, so good. When we say that in Liberia, it means that's all. So far, so good. The Barca politics we listened to, I think that was yesterday. You sent a video, you got me to listen to that, where Councilor Branskin, I heard her in that video saying that Daniel Sano, I'm told he should be joining you guys. Daniel Sano should be joining later. Daniel Sano alleged that it was Councilor Branskin and former Minister Finney who told former Vice President Joseph Boakai not to pick Yombling. So I listened to her in that video where she was saying Daniel is so divisive. She did not say that, and she has no authority to tell the former vice president who to pick or who not to pick. She talked about the former vice president team. Maybe they did a survey, and she named all those political actors in Grand Bassa, including her, Finney, and I think 2 representatives. And she said maybe it was due to the people survey they did. That is why they did not pick the senator. But she said she did not go to former Vice President Boakai to tell him not to pick Yombly. She said Yombly is her big sister and she will not do it. But she talked a lot about Daniel, that Daniel is so divisive, ranging from her endorsement. I think that was in 2022, somewhere around November or December. I may likely miss the date or I got it right. She said Daniel also said people should not attend her event because it was not a Liberty Party event. So she said Bassa is divisive today because of people like Daniel. So I'm sure Daniel will be coming on to speak, and maybe since she's leaning towards your Kim, you can also, if you have that ability, you can call her or get her side. Yeah, so far so good.
Thank you, Aaron. You said
yes, I'm okay now. I was trying to do something. So Jeans talk about some of the trending news, but today the people of West Point, in the township of West Point, saw the dedication, the turning over of a mini soccer pitch dedicated by President George Weah. We all know that when it comes to recreational activities, the president has been building few parks across the country. I mean,
the PHP, now the West Point, right? So
that for what we saw is not an entire playground like you have with the Invincible Park. It's just a playing pitch that was upgraded to a mini stadium with a few seating capacity around it.
Former Robert Salim Stadium.
Oh, the one that the Gabriel Tucker Bridge area that one that stayed over there. It looking like that.
It's inside West.
No, I'm talking about
all the way.
It looks like what in Robert said is around Gabriel Tucker Bridge there.
No,
not Chevron, not the Chevron Park. Not like the Chevron Park. For that one, it's just a playing pitch, a soccer pitch. What they dedicated today.
No,
it's just
you guys are not getting my question, but it's okay.
No, I know
Where's Robert Selly Park? Where's Robert Selly Park?
It was not a
James,
park. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
can just say, the
Yeah,
park
go
she's
ahead.
referring to is the Chevron Park, which is just after the Gabriel Tucker Bridge from town,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, that one is an entire park. Though it did not, I mean, it does not have football pitch and other things, but it's an entire playground where people go and have events. But for what we're talking about, is a playing pitch that the president dedicated today. A playing
Okay.
pitch, that was upgraded to a playing top. They put carpet
Put
there, like we call it,
okay.
and then they also had little sitting capacity there with lighting facility also there. It's something James can check it, or maybe if
I can show up picture.
yeah, maybe James
Imagine,
can check.
President, we are doing our thing today, and it's not even in the media like that. What is happening to CDC?
Oh, it was carried on Spoon TV or James. Apparently,
Yeah, but it was carrying on Spoon TV. We're not seeing it like in the social media space running here.
Alaska
And
not carrying
yeah,
it.
the way that's we posting the other things.
yeah, the way people can be running with it.
The E-Mansion, Executive Mansion, Calasco, and Sport TV that carried it.
Some of the things, they do more than 15 live just for inspection. Each time the president goes there,
Yeah,
they do
some people
inspection,
get weak.
every video. So that euphoria that we a company A when it's dedicated is not really there again. People already get that fatigue because most people have seen, even when they lay one blood there, they will carry camera, So each time the president goes there, another person, even Chokonkwi, he carries people there. Each time they're doing that, it is something that is being unveiled for the first time to the public. It has something. So I think that's the reason.
Artificial turf, though, I really don't. I think it causes injury.
Oh yeah.
Aaron, you don't?
No. Another thing is yeah, I'm not concluded. Even though we have the councilor here, Councilor Pago is already here. I think you see in the bus stream there.
Yes.
Yeah. Then the next news here, earlier today we attended a press conference where a group under the banner called an NPP NAPA, the National Auxiliary Patriotic Association of the NPP. Those group of NPP partisans, according to them, they are the ones that coordinate all auxiliaries within the NPP. They've officially pledged support to former Vice President Joseph Imam Boakai in the Unity Party. According to them, since they've been serving, since they joined the CDC, the Coalition for Democratic Change, they've been denied opportunities, including job, and so they cannot go into another arrangement for another 6 years with the CDC government again, when in fact the first 6 years they were marginalized and not given jobs. So they had a press conference today pledging support to former Vice President Joseph Boakai, and that they believe that the CDC government had a 0-6 years. That's how they describe it. A 0-6 years. Okay, 6-0 year. Okay, they don't want another 6-0 years. And that was the question I posed to them. What did they mean when they say 0-6 or 6-0 year? They said there was nothing done for them. That was just everything was zero. The NPP angle for them.
Mini soccer park, then it says 0 years.
Huh?
The president bidding.
About them as partisans of the party, those people who coordinate others.
Yeah, I know you mean. I'm just joking.
Yeah, because zero. So they don't want another 6-0 years again. So
yeah, 6-0 years. 6-0 years. That's interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's all for my end. Yeah, that's all for my end.
I was forgetting about this important news. I know only Unity Party people or Ambassador Boakai's supporters will be happy with it. I got a very credible information. It is confirmed 100%. Former Liberian Speaker Ellis Tyler withdrew his support from his party and the CDC yesterday. He did that. So basically, maybe by Monday it will be out. Somebody promised to send me the letter, but I think at the time I was resting. The president tried calling me. I did not pick, but I will keep on. Maybe they will send it to me next week, beginning tomorrow. So he resigned. He withdrew rather his membership from the party, and he's on his way to Unity Party. Unity Party then will support him in Bomi County, and he will serve as the campaign chair for bombing Cape Man. He will serve as campaign chair for that region.
You
And
mean King Kong?
I don't know
King Kong.
anybody called King Kong. So another one is
There was an airline like King Kong from Africa Airline. There's a
yeah. So
King Kong. I don't
he will also represent the Unity Party ticket. Unity Party will carry him as their senatorial candidate
Yeah.
in Pomey County.
Okay.
Yeah, this is confirmed. It's confirmed.
Yes. Let us bring Councillor Lami Parkour on. I'm just getting texts that he's there. Hi, Councillor. How are you?
I'm doing good. Do I have to unmute?
No.
You're good.
We'll
We
set
can
up
hear you.
here.
Can hear you. Good to
Yeah,
have
I'm
you.
doing good. Yeah, thank you for having me also.
Yeah. So when we start the show, we get to have the training issues brought in by Good Day and Aaron. So that's what was just happening. I just want to make sure that they have concluded with giving us the training issues, and then you are here, and I'm going to also have some other panelists joining us. I'm glad to have you, but I just want to check in. James and Aaron, are you guys pretty much done?
Yes, I'm done for now.
Okay.
So maybe you have something to maybe question or details surrounding those training news that you want us to give us. But
No,
if it's okay, then, yeah.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much for providing us with information and taking your time to go out in the field today to interview the NPP Auxiliary Group, and also to rush back into the studio to be the producer for this show today. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your effort towards just making Spoon TV the people's radio station. So, Councillor, it's good to have you here today. I'm looking forward to having Fadiga join us, and also Wazi will be joining us as well. We're waiting for them to come in. And actually, Wazi we usually start by having like an opening statement, opening comment. And so, you can at least tell the Liberian people a little bit about yourself and spend some time telling us your opening thoughts.
So basically, I'm a lawyer working in Liberia. I got involved in Liberian politics first time in 2000, and that was when we created the Friends of Bromsky group, and later on we
Well, why is it
parties.
can't unmute? Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I can continue. Am I being heard?
Yeah.
Yes, you are beautiful.
Yeah, okay, so-
Good.
No, I'm hearing everything.
Okay,
all right.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, as I'm a lawyer, I work in Liberia. I got involved in Liberian politics in 2000, and it was as a result of reaching out to Councillor Bromsky at the time, and he credited us as being the people who encouraged him to get involved in Liberian politics. We formed what we call the Friends of Bromsky, and that group metamorphosed into the Liberty Party. Actually, we registered two political parties at the time. We registered the Liberty Party and the United Democratic Party. Most people do not know about the United Democratic Party, who were not part of that arrangement back in 2004. So the few people who knew about that were people who were kind of original members. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. I've been following Liberian politics since I was just in my early 20s, so many years ago. And we've been around here looking at what happened. So that's in a nutshell that who I am.
Great. We want to welcome you to this wonderful platform. You will find that we have very spirited conversations here. There are different diverse views that are here. Some of us, do not consider ourselves with being a politician in Liberia. Some of us just come from outside looking in, or in between actually looking in. We have someone like Mr. Fagon, who's been in the government for a while and been also into politics in Liberia for a while, and described himself as a propagandist. So, and then we have other members of the platform. So we're glad to have you, and we look forward to your objectivity, slicing the information the best way that we can present, the best way so that we can present it to the Liberian people, to help them make good decisions for the elections October 10 and thereafter. So what we
Yeah.
usually do is we start with our 2 minutes comment reflections on anything that's on your mind, and then I have clips that James will play, and then we will be giving our opinions or our thoughts on those clips. James, I think you are making a funny face. As I thought I sent it to you. It's in the chat room. Look in the chat room. Look at the agenda. Okay. Wow. James will talk later in the back. Okay.
So
So
you were saying something about objectivity, and I think you had it spot on. Regardless of what your views may be on particular issues, you always have to make sure you come across as objective. I mean, I hold political views now. I've held political views in the past, but I like to see myself as someone who's objective on issues of general concern.
correct. And I think Liberia should be the focus of our attention, and sometimes maybe, that focus may not be, similar to yours, but I think there's room for either us bringing it closer together. So we're going to start basically with our 2 minutes thoughts about anything that's been happening in the country or anything in the news that you'd like to talk about. So I'll start with you, Counselor, and then we're going to go to Mr. Fagon, and then I'm usually, as the moderator, I'm the last person to usually give my thoughts if I deem it necessary.
So I mean, when I was coming in, I was watching a video on Facebook, and I think Gude was talking about these guys who came in with their pledge of support, and it was kind of you know it was kind of concerning to me the reason that they provided for switching loyalties. I don't think we should allow such things to take center stage in our country. You can switch loyalty because you think someone has failed, but not because the person didn't give you a job. I mean, that should be something that we should be very concerned about. And then there's another thing about this drug case that saw the not guilty verdicts and made headlines on the BBC. I think it was yesterday or so. I think that's an issue of concern. We should all be concerned about that. I mean, for a serious matter like that to end up in a not guilty verdict, it presupposes two things to me. One, either there was no case that was taken to court, or there's something funny happening. And either way, that presents a serious situation for our country. And I think we should be concerned, about a situation like that. Drug addiction, drug trafficking, drug abuse are very serious concerns to this country. And I would dare say that in the next few years, if we are not careful, we're going to be losing a very major part of our youth, to the addiction to drug. I mean, some of them dying off and even losing their ability to contribute to the society. So if we take the kind of lackadaisical attitude towards the fight against drug crimes, like we saw in that situation. And as I said, either the case was too weak to be taken to trial, or something corrupt happened in the process. And I mean, the news out there is that something corrupt may have happened, but it could be one of two. Because if you take a weak case to court, you don't expect to get a conviction. I mean, as a lawyer, I don't think someone should be convicted if there's not good enough evidence presented to court. So I will start on those two issues.
Thank you. And actually, we're going to be exploring that a little bit more. But thank you for telling us your thoughts. Mr. Fagon, how are you today? You ate bagel today?
I didn't eat bagel, but I ate some tabagi.
There you go.
The real Loma one too.
Plenty soda in it?
Huh?
Plenty soda?
The one I can pour.
Soda and tabagi and kettle.
You won't even know the tabagi I'm talking about because I the tabagi, you know that either piraba or kidney. Okay, you know that one you know.
I know tapasue.
Okay.
I know beans tabagi.
Then I got nothing they call beans tabagi, but what I'll get on to you.
What kind of tabagi is?
You don't even know we got kesali tabagi.
Oh yes, they do.
Tabagi.
Man, move for you, man. How
the one I ate today, you never heard about it. You never eaten it before.
No, I don't eat kesali tabagi before.
No, the one I ate today, you never heard about it or you never eat it before.
Well, I know about kesali tabagi. Let me just tell you that right now.
Okay, so simple question. You ever heard about pakutowe?
Share? No, that will probably be me on that one.
Hey man, let me tell you about the small beans. The small bean along book and call it talking with pakutowe.
Okay, yeah, let me act like you all that, bro.
Okay, the Loma people coming to tell you right now. And on Facebook, my people, if you're watching, you please tell Dr. Francine about pakutowe. Pakutowe, that the one when we eating, when we eating pakutowe, you gotta hold the tabagi soda, the small, the liquid. You make it all by itself. Then as you eating, you pour in small the tabagi soda over it. Yeah.
I'm lost for words. The way you describe it, I'm lost for words.
But I don't. The Loma man can't tell you about pakutowe.
I just came to make to support Minister Fagon, right? Pakutowe is the sweetest beans tabagi you can ever eat.
You will ever eat a small one.
Yeah, the small beans. When a real Loma woman who knows how to cook step in her soup, that originally you eat it, you're not going to stop eating it. It's very.
You know why I can't on the show late?
Beans my favorite. I don't like kettle. It's too bitter for me. But beans are my favorite.
Too what?
Too bitter.
My boy, I don't even care what must have petali again. They will come and cry.
No, petali when you cook it and it rinse a couple of times. When you get it water, then I will eat it. But when you get
tabagi is to allow you to flush your system. You drink a lot of water.
I like it. I like it when it flushes, when it make it too bitter.
Man. I'll cook it for you one day. Nobody can cook for me in the whole country that one thing I know.
Anyway, Mr. Fagon, please tell ya, I like the education that you bring to the Liberian people about bagel.
All the people say pakutowe is the sweetest. Look, Latin. Look, especially when you eating it with your hand and the water just roll down here. And if you can lick from your elbow all the way, then you know now you're going to heaven for you. Now the test for you to, if you want to know you will go to heaven, let pakutowe water roll down your elbow, you lick it from here all the way. Then you know you're going. Check in the Bible, it's written there. I'm going to give you the voice.
No, it's okay. I'll put an for that one there.
But anyway, you say what's on your mind?
Yes.
Really, what's on my mind? My sister, I didn't sleep last night.
Really?
I did a whole lot of research. Only to find out that the man they call Stephen Cashin spoke of Van Ellen as his boss for many, many years. How she used to handle him. The founder and CEO, the instructions she gave. This is audio and video. Hey, up to now, I'm not feeling too well in my system. You ask me what on my mind. It's like I'm going crazy. And I don't want to show the video because I think the whole country will be annoyed. Stephen Cashin. So that's one thing that's on my mind. But the real thing that disturbed me, that almost sent me to the hospital, everybody, even what they see, talk about the $100 million war for drugs. Nobody brought in the $40 million that followed that $100 million. And now what they confirmed that the people had already checked out. They did it free and they were gone.
They left the country?
They can't even find them. They can't even find them. They can't even find them.
Wow.
When you hear people saying, I am this partisan, I am that partisan, but you know what? I'm done. I'm going to follow JMB to rescue the country. Dr. Francine, is because everyone voted for change. And President Weah King had a power sharing agreement with Madam President, then turned around, refused to order her, refused to carry out the mandate of the people, then turned around those who she audited, refused to punish them, and then carry out her same old policy to the detriment of the Liberian people, where everything soared. Instead of leaving her prices in place, he either reduced their salaries and then increased their taxes and then turn around and place them in a hard situation. What do I mean by that? If I'm going to give an example for everybody to see. People were making $150. At that time, the budget was $520. You look at them for a long time, you cut their money down to $45. Then you turn around and increase the prices on basic commodities as well as real commodities that are necessary for a life to go on, such as, for example, gasoline, from $3.50 to $5.20. Bag of rice, the staple food of the nation, from $13 to $22. I can go on and on and on, but not to waste time. So then the cost of living increased astronomically. But then the annual income earning of civil servants and others decreased. The budget you said was $520 that you told the Liberian people was too much and that you needed to harmonize their salaries. You not only cut their salaries, you increase taxes. And now your budget is $780 million. And instead of making more than $150, they now make $45. That is George Weah. They call it Weahnomics. Weahnomics. And so at the end of the day, that's on my mind. And then the president goes before the legislature and said, "You're sorry, for 5 years, I didn't know y'all were making $45. But I'm talking to the legislature to increase your money." How are you going to increase people? You talk to the legislature to increase their money. By law, the Decent Work Act allowed them to be paid that money. Did you go to the legislature to cut their money? No, you did not. It is by law, but you cut it on your own. So why you can't increase it on your own? When you ready to get 11 million out to your Lebanese friends then to bring rice, do you go to them? When you took the 30 million for stimulus package and share the money all around, did you go to them? When you turn around and use our money to go for 48 days, did you go to them? And so those things bother me a lot. But what is now making me sick is the fact that I now know that the Pan-African Capital Group, brought into the country by Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, working in collaboration with the current Ghanaian, by then he was Wall Street guy, but he's currently the Ghana Foreign Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta.
So Ghana kept him as the foreign minister, knowing all of this about him?
Oh, he just got there. Just Google him. You will see he just became Ghana's foreign minister in January.
So they made him foreign minister, knowing all of this about him that he brought in there. He was part
Perhaps
of this.
that now Ghana will understand that he was part of this capital stuff. But he's the current foreign minister. Then you have Pa Makunda Injay of Gambia. And then Steve Keshin, the four of them. And now we know when people talk about the bogus concession agreements and what have you, that was the monopolized investment when my friend Wisner was at the National Investment Commission. That's why you see him running around today. Okay, so they monopolized investment into the country. They bought the international bank. Then they turned around. They took the international insurance company, ICA, and all of those things. Now that I know all these things, I'm disturbed. I'm really, really disturbed. Nothing I can do about it. But I hope the Liberian people will take the necessary course of action to make sure that it's not only repeated, but that those responsible for monopolizing investment in our country and putting a cap on it for the last 6 years be brought to book.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Fakon. Mr. Wozi, it's great to have you here today. Do you have anything on your mind that you like to tell the Liberian people before we
And
go?
let me say good afternoon to Councillor Lamik Pagbo. I think it's good evening there now.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Wazi, so we'll go into some concerns that you had that you wanted to discuss. So we'll go into that later. But can you just tell us a little bit about?
Well, thanks very much, Dr. Richardson. It's always an honor.
Excuse me, Wazi. People keep typing that gas is $6.70. I keep saying $5.20. Lami, you drive a car. Can you tell me how much you pay on a gallon of gasoline? They're saying $6.70.
For something, or it was for something recently, and I remember someone who does gas business told me recently that the price went up. I don't know by how much. To be fair to you, I don't really pay attention to the price at the pump I go by. But it used to be, I think, for something like a week or so ago. But just this week, someone who does gas business told me that the price has gone up, but they didn't tell me by how much.
All right, thank you. I would love to sell gas to you. Say you don't pay attention to the pump.
Also, I just want to make a correction here. Falcon, somebody just texted me and said that Ken guy that you spoke about is not the foreign minister. He's actually the finance and economic.
I said finance minister. Ken Ofori-Atta.
No, you mistakenly said foreign minister. Maybe.
Oh, then sorry. Ken Ofori-Atta, Ghana's finance minister.
Yeah,
I almost corrected you, but I wanted you to learn first.
Yeah, Ken Ofori-Atta.
Okay, thank you.
Don't forget, Desmond Ghanaians.
And thank you to the person who texted me. Wazi, it's your turn. Please give us your opening.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back here, and I'd like to say good afternoon to all of you and to those in regions outside our side of the world. I'd like to say maybe good morning and whatever time your clock reads. But quite frankly, I have a long list of talking points that I would like to talk about today. We listened to the speeches that were made by the capital billing by the two groups, one endorsing the ruling party ticket, another one endorsing the opposition party, the UP ticket. And I also listened with keen interest to President Weah's 2023 National Unification Day speech. And also I followed the press conference of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the CBC. And then I would also like to talk about Madam Mandela Kopas's press statement. And then my own experience at the Rabat International Airport with some EPS officers and the policy issues, providing an overall analysis of the Agenda for Transformation, the AFT, and that of the PAPD. And then the policy anomalies, the philosophical contradictions, and some of the, providing, not in-depth though, but general overview of some of the issues of concern. For example, the harmonization, the aggregate income growth implications, or the income impact implications on the civil servants, and then going back to the policy commitment of the PAPD. So today, these are some of the issues that I would like to touch on, and I also will be looking at the MDR Secretary General suspension, along with one of the members of the House of Representatives and a local government official. Their press statement that was so flooded with jargons that nobody, almost the whole country couldn't understand. And then generally a couple of other things of key interest, the highly publicized one-round victory either been announced by the incumbent party, our party, and also the opposition party. The my own analysis, the statistical faults I see with that, and I'll be providing the basis of why I think it's not possible for any party, whether ruling party or opposition, to win first round, and what I think could be possible, the practical scenarios that could land someone the presidency.
Okay, great. Wazzy, did you want to? Those are all great topics. Actually, if James, if you're listening to me, I think it would be helpful if James get the videotape of the NPP auxiliary group talking today. I think Councillor Lami Kapo already. I'm sorry, Lami. Let me say a last name. Bagoy. We're gonna take me a few trials, okay? Bagoy. Sorry? Yes, they're gonna Bagoy will also add to the auxiliary. Hey, you Fakombi, give me a chance.
Okay, muted.
What a G there.
Bagoy.
Bagoy, yeah.
Yeah, Bagoy.
You got it right there. Put a G there.
Okay. All right. Good. So, Wazzy, I would like for Jeans to just Jeans got that tape ready. All right. And so when you were talking about what happened at the Capitol building this past week, you talked about the two groups, the Unity Party and the CDC members. I think that's something that we talked about here. Did you want to just share your thoughts on that quickly before we move on to the videotape?
Yeah. The thing is, we saw, first of all, one group quietly presenting a petition and providing a historical analysis of their own perspective on the characters within some characters within the oppositions, like most of those incumbent senators, and that was interesting. And then they also got their own song, which is common. We did that before in opposition. And so they presented with our marching band, without disrupting the entire executive marching ground. So, and then they presented their petition, and then people made remarks, as is expected of all politicians. And then they left the John Chimmer, or the Capitol building. The next day, the vice president enters with a group of representatives and some senators, and leveled barrage of allegations, show jabs, and make indirect threatening remarks. And so I think that was actually unhealthy. It's very clear. The majority of those people were not people. I recognize good number of them who are employees of other ministries and agencies. So I just like to use this platform to caution them against those kinds of tactics, because it's not going to work. I think what we should focus on right now is to reconcile with ourselves. Our biggest problem, CDC biggest problem, is not opposition. CDC biggest problem is a deliberate act of self-manipulation. You know, somebody said something before that the most dangerous form of witchcraftism is when you are playing witch on yourself. That is, you're eating your own children, you are deceiving yourself, and you are manipulating yourself. That is the party's biggest problem. So the party does not appreciate its own. It's always looking out for newcomers and new people, and new way to make itself believe that it's on top of everything. And so you move like maybe like a cat, like what one of the politicians said, like a cat that is roaring behind a wall like a lion. All you need to do is just remove the wall, and you will notice that it's a cat behind the wall and not a lion. And that's one reason why most African politicians end up getting disappointed, because when you start deceiving yourself, you will end up pushing the military to get involved in politics, in mainstream politics. And at that point, you will realize that the military is not as loyal to you personally than you assume. That's where most African leaders get messed up, because their fallback position is always the military. And I'm disappointed in Spoon Network by the fact that the director of the MCC security said, and I quote, and I've not heard that clip yet, but I listened to it when he said the arms in the port were brought in as a standby in case something happens after elections. That's a deep revelation. It has deeper security implications. It means somebody is expecting something, and they may not be able to use the armed forces to execute a certain instruction. So they got a standby armory to react to non-formal military structure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ozzy.
Yeah.
Thank you. We have a guest in the studio. I just got news that Daniel Sandu is in the studio. So we'll be actually listening to what he has to say today. But I have a quick question because of something that you said, Wazzy, and it's a yes and no answer before we move on to our guests. James, also, if you get a chance, can you please get the video that Mr. Sandu is going to be responding to, so we can hear that video playing, and then he can come back and respond to it, because I'm sure that's what he's going to be talking to us about today, or talking to the Liberian people about. James, not this one. I'm talking about the one with the reason why isn't Mr. Sandu yet to respond to Charlene Bronskin and much more. And if that's the case, her video, I would like to get ready. My yes and no question to you guys. The Unity Party came into the Capitol building and had some midterm as an endorsement ceremony, followed by the CDC. So my question to you, do you think our public buildings should be used for that kind of political activity? Mr. Fagon, yes or no?
Well,
Definitely
it depends.
no.
It depends.
Hold on, I'm coming to you, Mr. You say it depends.
It depends on what you're talking about, because you said that kind of activity. So what kind of activity are you talking about?
The activity that you saw on the videotape, those two activities, they were endorsing a political official, they were making speeches. The other one had bands, they were singing, those kinds of political activities. They were chanting, using political jargons, those activities, and there's much more. So it doesn't matter what you say, yes or no. You know, we are open here.
Well, what we saw in the first group that assembled, they were actually Capitol building staffers, and they went there to welcome back their senators and what have you, in whose offices they worked. And yes, if they choose to sing a song, and if they choose to say, look, we will do this and we'll follow Boca, it's their right. That's where they work. And it is the joint chambers of the legislature. That's where they work. And even our laws say, even the lawmakers you saw over there, the law said whenever they're in chambers, whatever they say on that floor cannot be held against them in the court of law. So yes, they were in the joint chambers.
So
they're all legislators, and the people who work there are there.
Okay,
do they have the right?
Mr. Fagon, just for the sake of time, because of course our guest is in the studio already. So for you, because those people were legislative staffers, it's okay. They can okay for you. Councillor Parkour, yes or no?
No, I don't think they should use that space for that purpose, because political activities can become rowdy. It's understood that people who work over there are obviously partisans. Whether they are independent or they belong to a political party, obviously they are partisans. But to take the political campaign on the grounds of the Capitol building, I think that's taking it too far, because pretty soon we start having violence between them.
Thank you for your views, Mr. Wazzy.
Well, evoking I'm not a legal luminary, and I have my own reason why I will say why it's not a problem, because as the then spokesman of the CDC back then in 2017, I remember coordinating and serving as MC of one of the biggest programs on the grounds of the Capitol building. In fact, I MC that program. The old video is still on the KMTV, one of those local television network website. And so I introduced the vice president. I introduced now, if I was then serving as the protocol. And so I remember us having a very elaborate program there. That was when President Salih was still in power. So people never had issue with that. But we didn't take band we didn't dance roughly like the way, in the hostile way, like the way our friends did it a couple of days ago. You could
again, for the
easily
sake
tell.
of time, yes.
You
So
could
you are
easily tell
saying
that
that
the motive was to disrupt everything on the ground. Anybody just ask the any question. It was wrapped. People had gone there to do something else than just petitioning somebody.
You are saying, I'm sorry, because again, our guest is in the studio. I don't mean to interrupt you. So you are saying when Unity Party did it, it seemed appropriate and okay, but then
No. That's what I'm saying. You look at the two crowd. You are a psychologist by profession. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. You have to explain to me.
The expressionism is clear. You can analyze the video and know who
not answering my question, but it's okay because you're telling me that one group brought band into the room.
No, I mean one group brought band in the place and it was rougher than the other group, and you could see the level of organization.
One group was already disrupted
from the guests. There were guests in there. One group of guests comprised of 70% guests on the grounds of the Capitol building, and one group was comprised of 90% employees. That's why it means.
Okay, so when we have 90% employees, it's okay, but when we have guests and bands, it's not okay.
It's their office. Yeah.
Okay. Fadiga, welcome to the show. Mr. Daniel Sender, welcome to the show. CEO Stanton, welcome to the show. I don't know if I should ask you this question. I'm ready to just move on with my show with my original panelists that I have here because we're running behind schedule already. So, and I think I know your opinions on this because we talked about this already. So, but Fadiga, I know your opinion.
I should be free to speak, though. You know my opinion, so I can share it.
So yes or no for you?
What's your question?
Do you think that public buildings, tax paid by taxpayer money, should be used for the kind of endorsement? Some people might term it endorsement that we saw of political officials, political officers by the two groups that we saw.
Thank God, said some people, it was not an endorsement now. It was a welcoming ceremony. But anyway,
I will go back. Okay, I will go back to the furry line that Gloria Musun-Scott always used. As the condition, so is the problem. Under normal circumstances, a normal government, you won't see this. But because of the political situation in the country, because folks have no more respect for this government, the government from the outside is lawless, from the inside is lawless. According to our constitution, it is wrong. Whether you have one or whether you have two, whether those who are on the staff or whether those from the outside. And Liberians should understand. I think it is wrong. I do believe that lawmakers should govern themselves accordingly. This may lead into insurrection if this should continue. It will lead to another January 6th that took place here in the United States. You may be from the opposition or in position, you think it is right, but it is wrong. And I hope from the vice president to all the lawmakers, they can understand that that's a time bomb waiting to explode. I raise that to Richardson.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to Fadiga. Fadiga, I do know your opinion on this. We actually deferred as early as yesterday, but I'll give you an opportunity to speak for 30 seconds or so because our guest is already here.
All right.
Excuse me, point of correction. He's not a guest, Dr. Richardson. He's not a guest. He's contributing panelist on the show.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Daniel, Mr. Sandu. Go ahead.
So what I'm about to say, if you look into section 2.9 of the NEC code there, I'm not a lawyer, I think the lawyer, Lamine, I think he's a lawyer counselor, we'll probably expand on that. It prescribes what is allowed and what are not allowed. And I didn't see anything, not even in our code of conduct, to suggest otherwise what happened at the legislature. And I think we keep giving it different names and giving it calling it our own thing. But what we saw that I don't know what it was campaigning. It was legislative staffer that went down there, and these people have not been paid for months. In that legislature, we saw my good friend Achi Pompon. That's himself on fire because he was not receiving payment. Another guy, I saw him go on one of the legislator car because they were not getting paid. I mean, this is something that shouldn't be happening. These are people exercising what is prescribed in our constitution. The other thing that we saw, counter something for the government, for me, I think it shows irresponsibility on the government part. The notion that they will always have to fight tete-a-tete, either the counter-protesting or bringing other people to fight. Look, you are the government. You have the most to lose. You should be protecting the people, not behaving. You know, Ambassador Boyka said something in one of his speeches I was listening to. He said, "This government."
30 seconds, please, because we have to move on.
I know. We'll go. But let me just say the thing Ambassador Boyka said. He said, "This government is functioning as if to say they are still a political party, and they are not functioning as a government. Government is all inclusive, bringing everybody. It's not one party. They are still functioning as a political party, and it's still in that mindset. And that's one of the biggest problems they are having with governing."
Okay, Fadiga, I knew your views on this matter, so and it's okay. It's just interesting that you say it's okay for one party to do it, but then you're holding the government at a higher standard when they do it. So I just wanted to point that out. That's what I heard in your voice. Mr. Sanu, I don't know if you, since as a panelist here, what are your thoughts on what we were talking about? Do you think it's okay for the government or a political party to have what people might term as an endorsement, welcoming, campaigning, ceremony, drums, singing, calling names, waving, paraphernalia? What do you think?
Let me say good afternoon, good evening to the panelists. It's good to be here, and I'd like to say thanks to the CEO for having me. To your question, the legislature is a political theater. From time to time, we've always witnessed the assembly conglomeration of various interest group, political parties, politicians to petition, to cheer people who go for confirmation. I mean, it's always happening there. So it is not news. I think the point we're missing here is that the usage of the joint chamber, I think for me, that's a sacred area. I have absolutely no problem with what my colleagues who work at the legislature did, because if there are any group of people who are the most victim of the broken promises of the CDC government, it is us who are legislative staffers. Maybe if somebody tried to question the venue in which the joint chamber, because that's a sacred area, and some of the things that were being said by our friends from the CDC were some very unholy things. I mean, utterances were made there by leaders of the country to other opponents. I think it was wrong, but on the grounds of the Capitol, the courtyard of the Capitol, I mean, we can often see people come there, assemble, even when they appoint people, the president makes appointment, people come there to cheer out the people and everything. So it is nothing strange for workers, employees at the legislature to assemble and give certificate of appreciation to senators whom they believe are doing well in the interest of the country. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
So Mr. Sanu, you are saying that if they had this event outside where they usually have different, cheering events, it's okay with you, but where they had the event, which is what I'm questioning, basically.
So when you say where, then it becomes a bit confusing, because the event was held.
Well, I'm going by what you told me.
So I specifically said in the courtyard of the legislature, on the grounds of the legislature, it's open for political events, right? Maybe you can question the usage of the joint chamber, which for me is a sacred hall that should be reserved for the joint assembly of the first branch of government for historic events. I don't think it should be used for any such purpose.
Okay, so I think you and I are on the same page here because you're
we're not on the
saying
same page. We're not on the same page. I think I have a bit of modification to say we can use the courtyard of the legislature.
That's exactly what I'm trying to.
Legislature. But with the exception of the joint chamber, which I do think is a sacred area.
Okay, what I was trying to say to you, you just said it's okay to use the public area where they have used that area in the past, but they use the joint chamber, which is not okay because you consider it a sacred area, and there's certain points. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. There's certain areas that I don't believe should be used for political rallies, but if the courtyard is open to the public and this.
Yeah, but in the case of the legislature, you also have to understand that it is a political theater. Okay, I cannot go have a political event at the judiciary.
We're changing the goalposts here as we go along, but it's okay. We got to the point already, and you're entitled to that view as well. All right. So, good day. Do you have our first clip with the NPP auxiliary group? Let's show that clip and then get views from everyone.
Oh, say, sir. Oh, say, sir. MPP goes up. MPP goes up.
Members of the press, we the marginalized and deprived partisans of NAPA, NPP, have decided and declared support to the Unity Party Alliance. Reason being that vast majority of the NAPA partisans and the coming into power of President Weah in 2018. However, there were some internal political conflicts in the National Patriotic Party, NPP, as a constituent political party in the Coalition of Democratic Change, CDC. Those conflicts were resolved by President Weah. Those conflicts were resolved by President Weah, which all parties told the conflicts were asked to go to the status quo ante and accepted by all concerned parties. On the contrary, NPP standard bearer Madam Taylor undermined and disregarded the constitution of the party by removing and replacing NAPA National Chairman Honorable Bala Herbert, which had created dark cloud over the action of Madam Taylor, standard bearer, NPP, and Vice President, Republic of Liberia. So, in addition, Madam Taylor, in collaboration with some of the members of the National Executive Committee, NEC, indefinite suspension of NPP National Chairman Honorable James P. Barney is another symbol of gross disrespect to the presidency. Because he, President Weah, mandated that for the sake of peace and unity in the coalition, all conflicting parties should go to the status quo ante. As a head and final decision maker in the coalition, his ruling was rejected by them for their selfish interests. On the other hand, since job opportunity was not given us and framework documents were signed, we do not want to suffer again for another 6-0 year in the coalition when the first 6-0 years have gone. As a result, we are therefore withdrawing our support from the coalition and pledge our foliar support to the former ruling Unity Party.
So!
Henceforth, herewith attached listing of the marginalized and deprived NPP partisans resolved for this cause.
Okay, we're gonna take our time to ask everyone to give their opinion on what you just watched, and of course, we're going to start with Mr. Fagon, and then we'll go to Councillor Farquhar, and then of course Wazi, Stanton, Fariga, and Mr. Sandu. So, Mr. Fagon, you just saw the video. What are your thoughts on what you just witnessed? What's going through your mind?
Thank you. Let me say to my friend and brother Lamik Bagbo, maybe we are understanding these people differently. Yes, they talk about job creation. When they entered the coalition, I'm not sure they went to the coalition to say you got to give us jobs. But government's responsibility is to create the enabling environment for investors to come or to be attracted so that people can get jobs. They're supposed to bring about a robust economy that will invest into the private sector and not just the government to create jobs for our citizens. This government have neither done either of the two. So again, you hear them talking about their suffering. It's just that maybe the way they worded it. But our government is supposed to create the atmosphere for us to have jobs. Isn't that correct? And if I go and vote for you to create that atmosphere, you bring in drugs into the country, armed robbery is on the increase, murder, you are involved in extrajudicial murder, you're all kinds of things. The whole country is like a failed state. Why should I be there? And if those guys said, look, we joined the coalition, you told us to return to status quo ante, meaning the purpose for which we all came together. That did not materialize. Why should we be with you then? And you and Alami cannot argue. There are two people here. They came from Unity Party. I was an independent. Look at where we are today. It doesn't necessarily mean we need to work in government. But the truth of the matter is, this government has failed. And what is most important is that NAPA, which is the National Association, Patriotic Association of Liberia, you know the NPP, I don't need to tell you. Randolph Cooper was the first chairman. You saw what we did to him just last year. Randolph Cooper. These people are over 30,000 strong. And at the end of the day, you may say they are former general, former combatants. They were the National Patriotic Association of Liberia, NAPA. And if they are coming up to say, hey, we don't want you anymore, I tend to agree with them. And the reason they gave is genuine. I want to debate against the reason they gave. Then somebody needs to tell me whether the CDC, as a member of the coalition, have given respect to the coalition partners. And they have created an environment for the coalition partners, not me and you now, to be happy. They've never done that. And this last, I know Dr. Francine, 30 seconds. This last thing they went to, the man promised them that he would do XYZ. Since February, nothing has happened. I know about it because I am an insider. So they're like, hey, you said you are going to effectuate some changes, such as you are going to reshuffle. You are going to look at creating the enabling environment for us to get jobs. Western Cluster there, Asila Mita, they all need to hire more people, but they're refusing. So those guys like, you know what? This guy has failed. We need to go. And I support their actions, and I think it's a big blow to the NPP in the coalition. And I'm told and reliably informed that they are building a consensus around Chairman Bani. Remember, Chairman Bani is still the chairman. That bogus thing they did, it's not working. Respectfully submit. Those are my thoughts.
Yes, Councillor Farquhar.
Bagbo.
Bagbo. You're not offended by you, just leave me alone.
I'll have a lesson from pronouncing my name. You know, we'll go to
that
school.
R there, we're not putting that R, man. Leave that R from there. From Cape Man for me.
So, Eugene, you can't have it both ways. Those people spoke and they spoke clearly. And I think we ought to condemn anybody who thinks that our political process should be used as a means of people getting jobs and in order to encourage sycophancy, because basically that's what they are saying. They are saying
you said
that
basically, you're not saying what they say.
Hey, Pacon,
they're saying they spoke English. Those people did not speak.
Pacon, Chancellor, Pacon is protected.
Eugene,
thank you.
Okay.
Eugene, those people did not speak any of the local languages. They spoke English. And they're basically saying that they didn't get jobs over the past 6 years. They do not want to be jobless 6 years going. And they are not talking about jobs with ArcelorMittal. ArcelorMittal is not going to recruit people on the basis that they are CDC partisans or they are MPP partisans. Companies won't do that.
Please allow him to speak.
So we ought to condemn people who see the political process as a process to foster sycophancy. And that's one of the reasons why this country is being held back. The argument is not that Mr. Weah failed. I mean, other than the people who are there who probably benefiting something from it, it's clear for everyone to see that Mr. Weah has failed. But what do we want to replace Mr. Weah with should be what should be of concern to us. And this thing going around where people are saying we are crossing carpet to another party because we want jobs. I belong to the Gonglo campaign. We've been having conversations with different people, and one of the groups we had conversations with recently, they told us clear cut that they no longer want to be in opposition, so they are going to support a particular group of people. Those people are not people to be trusted, because tomorrow they will encourage the Liberian people to make another bad decision like they did in 1997. They thought Taylor was going to be the savior. They voted for him on grounds that Taylor had a mayonnaise jar full of diamonds and he would just bring it in and the country would be developed. We didn't see that happen. They came to Mrs. Saliv assuming that Mrs. Saliv would do the best, and that became another disappointment. And when they jumped to Mr. Weah, Mr. Weah has become the greatest disappointment. We cannot continue encouraging people to do these same things. And when you say that the people are disappointed because they went into a coalition and their expectations were not met, the expectation of the Liberian people as a whole is what should matter. The issue of rule of law, the ingrained issue of corruption in this country that has never been worked on by the CDC government. They don't even care about whether they will deal with rule of law, whether they will deal with corruption, whether they will even work on the economy. Zero. They're not interested in it. And as I told somebody the other day, these guys, you gave them another 7 years, not going to help this country. They reached the zenith of their abilities. The law of marginal returns is what affecting these people presently. But if you continue encouraging people to make the same bad decisions that they've consistently made from 97, 2004, 2011, 2017.
Mr. Paco?
So yeah, I will stop there for the other panelists can speak.
Thank you. I'm going to go on to Wazi. Wazi, your views on the videotape that you saw?
Well, look, I'm not actually surprised. I think that I mentioned this on 2 separate occasions, even more. I've said this on many occasions, every time I appear on Spoon Talk, that our party have got a lot of issues. And currently, what is confronting the party is something that we shouldn't have had confronting us. Because how we live up to the deal, how we live up to the deal, we wouldn't have been going through all what we are going through right now. But when you have people who are in structure and afraid of competition, people who are bent on deceiving people who have to push them, then you come to these kinds of points like this where the party finds itself. You have people leaving. Look, I can tell you clearly here, right, that within the current, what you call the current coalition, you have just 15% MPP. You have at least 10% LPDP. you have at least 0.001% of MDR. I saw the other guys who had a press conference speaking all kind of terminology. They want to carry one vote each of them. They got no way of putting MDR voters to coalition. So why have people deceiving you? They are insignificant people. They use MDR as a chariot to get job in the government. They don't have political relevance on their own. It's clear. We were on the front line of the CDC campaign. We know the people. When they talk, we look at them with like a cat behind a wall and yelling like lion. They got no supporters behind them. We know them personally. We know these people. We know their capacity. So I think that press release from those folks is a clear message that the chairman, Barney, controls the membership. That is clear. That the vice president cares about her vice presidency, and she cares less about the people down the line. And technically speaking, she has failed to live up to contributing her part of the population that she promised or that she's supposed to give to the coalition, which is more or less a form of poor performance, politically speaking. On the other note that Councillor Lamine Bako talks about, I mean, he said he's with the Gongolos team. I think, I mean, I'd like to respectfully disagree. You know, I'm not, a lawyer, but with my business understanding, business law, I learned few terminologies. And one of those terminologies that I love to use, you know, they got something you call fiduciary duty or fiduciary commitment. You got what you call legal positivism and legal negativism. The lawyer will understand what I'm trying to talk about. And all these terminologies tend to draw a rationale, a profile what you call commitment. So in politics, why the issue that you don't promise people that I will give you a particular job, but you make a general commitment in the form of an encapsulated package, what you call your political manifesto. That is a commitment. The commitment to create jobs, the commitment to attract foreign direct investment, the commitment to expand the private sector to serve as the basis of job creation, to serve as a facilitator of what you call
30 seconds, Wazi. 30 more seconds.
Yeah, to create what you call an effective circular flow. You understand? Because we learn in basic economics that investment is the source of loanable funds, and loanable funds is the source of savings. So that's a chain. How do you actualize that? You get that by attracting foreign direct investors. They come into the country, they help to bring in foreign currency. You use the current foreign currency to import goods that you cannot manufacture locally, and quote unquote, you create jobs. And if you are manufacturing, you export your product, you bring in your.
Much, Wazi.
All right, we'll just stop doing that as we go along.
Yes, sorry. Stanton, your thoughts about the video?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Richardson. Listen, that whole video, to me, the ruling establishment, Wozi party, Fagon, former party, again, blunder upon blunder upon blunder. President George Manawia, Samuel Twe, Moba Molu, Akaris Gray, Jefferson Koji, Thomas Fala. Just because Nathaniel followed McGill, just because McGill stepped aside, every day what we see, and we're going to hunt them. The MDR left, NPP left. The part of NPP that remained that under Joe Howard Taylor. When Fagon used to preach the message about the bigger CDC, when Wozi spent his time in Nimba, Lofa, sleeping and mosquito eating him, about the bigger CDC, it was the collective effort to make sure that Prince Johnson MDR was going to have a fair share. What did they give him? Post and telecommunication. Prince Johnson said, my son Stanton, who's sending mail again? What's your post office? I can take my cell phone and text you in few seconds. You'll be texting me back. Joey, I had nowhere for my people but to give them that one position, post and telecommunication. the money that was given to Joe Howard Taylor to keep NPP, you can go ask them. Ask Jim Banning. What about Alex Tyler? Folks, let's stop playing. Joe Weah and his government mess up. They will regret. I spoke to somebody and I said, oh, but let them go. We can do it without them. And I turned around and said, are you serious? Those people brought you to power. In the second round, Wozie can tell you more than Fagon will tell you more. Without Prince Johnson, without NPP, you talking about Jimmy, Senator Banning, without him. You said what you want to say about Joe Howard Taylor. You think the Taylor family still respect Joe Howard Taylor? The children? Those group? The fundamental of NPP send Dr. Richard said, I just started speaking. Oh, don't give me 30 seconds. Hey God. I've been quiet on the show. The fundamental group since 1997, when Charles Gange Taylor changed NPFL to NPP. You think they're behind Man Joel? No, they are not. They are mad at her. They are. They are all behind Jimmy. But I will say this though, folks. It is important to say this. The president regret the fact that Nathaniel Fallow McGill is out of the picture. He was the only person. He was the only person. And when the money business started, guess what happened? The promise to give the people money, the money can't come. The money was on the GPS and they said recalculating. You driving, you know, when the GPS said recalculating, it means that you missed the place, so you got to turn around. And the money can come again. So I think, and listen, the guys I'm seeing, they're on there, they're crying, they're there, they're reading. I feel sorry for them. I think Jimmy got to come out and speak. I think his people got to rally around him and they will give him a chance. They open it. Now 1 minute you in the corner in Maryland supporting Joseph Boakai, thank you. Then the other minute, come on the show and tell your people, your follower, where you stand. Do it. With 4 more months to go, or maybe 5 more months, take a position if you mean it. Because Joe Howard Taylor, the vice president, thinks she got a party. But it is clear, like Fadiga would say, Joe Howard Taylor, the people will not allow her to carry the party. I'm seeing something like Liberty Party on the reverse. And I'm going to leave it like that. I'll wait for my second round to talk because now Chairman Banning is running this way, Joe is running that way. My Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence is running the other way, and Musa Belete is carrying the party the other way, or half of the party. This thing need to stop. It needs to stop because President Weah and CDC messed this thing up, and they have lost an opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thank you.
Fadiga.
Just so you know, I'm currently monitoring the meeting going on in Banga right now. I'm just trying to inform you. The vice president is meeting with senior members of Nepal. If you say Allah, call anybody in Banga right now. She's meeting with them right now, senior members of Nepal in Banga. Let them call and say Allah, the vice president here. I'm in that meeting right now.
Fadiga?
Yeah, interesting discussion. But I would like to say this. I've listened to different point of view, but one thing I want us to not forget here today is that joining a political institution, whether based on personal interest or the national interest, those are all okay. Those are all tenets of democracy. People join political institutions. Look, it's even in the greatest democracy in the world. I don't know who would join political party or join a cause without, whether it's for the general good of the country, whether it's to advance your political career. It is common occurrence everywhere in the world, even in the United States. People join these things because when it's time to share the bounty, everybody expects something. One of the problems I see with this administration is that they don't honor their words. They are very deceptive. They are very greedy and mean. And I think that's one of the problems that this government has been faced with. You see, Ellen, When you make an agreement with people, your word should be your bond. And in politics, like in anything in life, if you renege on those things, it will come back to haunt you. We saw that way. So look, early informed, there's a book called Team of Ravel that highlight one of the greatest politicians of all time in America, Abraham Lincoln, who brought diverse people together because he believed that you can better serve your people rather than just hiring people on the Sakobo tree shouting muya muya. That people can better serve their country when you have diverse views where people can turn around and everybody agreeing. So many politicians, what are ordinary people enter political these political campaign either want to advance their personal aspiration or their career or to fulfill some ambition. I don't know why anyone would join political institution just because you think that this person is your trap. So what those guys did, I think they were well within their right to expect something because it is normal. But this government is plagued with so many other things. Not only that they have the country have regressed under them, the economy is terrible. Everything is the prices of everything has skyrocketed. We have now attracted any foreign direct investment. They have shown to be very irresponsible. It seems to be a kakistocratic government. They have taken ineptitude to another level. They are normalized ineptitude. So they are faced with their own personal problem. So we see these things. Look what they did to Cooper Kwa. If I was advising the president, I mean, what are you? Why 5 months to the election? Why will you remove Councilor Kura? I mean, that was very petty because he attended an event. Leave him there. Show them like the Nimadians that your softer side, that you are a man of humanity, that you are not that petty. But hey, anything is possible in this administration. So as far as looking at that video, I think they were in the know, they're right what they were doing. It's just that the way it sounded, but I don't see anything wrong with it. It just doesn't matter how it sounded. It is what it is. It's just that they were just blunt and put it on the table that way. And that is common occurring in Liberia. And I want us to know that it's common occurring in Liberia, even in the greatest democracy in the world. People join this campaign because after the election, that is time decisions are made in your best interest. Some people get career advancement. Some people get position. That is why people join this political institution. And you are well within your right to do it. So kudos to them. At least they did not just sit there. This time they're going to the rescue team. Hopefully more of those people can come to the rescue team and we can clean this place up.
I'm laughing because all the people pressing me, they say, how you can manage to know? We eat bang out to the BT, how you manage to know?
You got a drum there.
I got my drum. Even that Charlene thing you're talking. Charlene a decoy.
Okay.
And don't tell me to wait.
We're going to move on. Farika, thank you so much for your feedback.
Just to make a point, Doug, just to make a quick point. So it means that tomorrow when whoever wins, and that person should basically just give jobs to all the people who supported them, then it will be the best. Then that way, I mean, we should just basically continue doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
I said something about Team of Ravel.
Because I mean, we have to condemn. I mean, what Lincoln did is nothing like this. It's absolutely nothing like this. Because if we continue encouraging this behavior, it will continue coming back to haunt us. The government can employ probably maybe 50,000 people at the highest. So there's no way you can employ everybody. So to continue encouraging people to change political parties because somebody didn't give them a job is dangerous for this country. So
thank you. I want to go.
Can I get 5 seconds? I know you're going to Daniel Sano. I know you're going to Daniel Sano, but can I get? Yeah, can I ask Daniel?
Mr. Sano is here. He has not given his views yet. He ain't going ready.
Can I ask Daniel for 5 seconds?
Mr. Sano, please speak on this issue.
It's Sando. So
let's see, we're taking name. Let's see, you have to take my people. If I ask you to pronounce my first name, you'll not even know how to do it. So,
and
anyway.
She from Kema.
Then she want to pronounce it. But anyway,
Mr. Sano, I'll call you later. Mr. Sano, and I know it. Yeah, but Mr. Sano.
Okay, thank you. But listen to the shares of opinion, and I think Councilor Lamek Bagbo is being very idealistic which is not good for our body politic.
Wow.
Even if we want to be very philosophical, let's talk about social utilitarianism.
Oh boy.
It's the greatest happiness of the greatest number. What besides the CDC government gave us a blueprint to which we have all right to hold them accountable. The PAPD, that they are going to create 1 million jobs in the first quarter of the government. So if somebody is withdrawing their political support because the government has not created a job, I mean, it is just logical. And, you know, so we have to look beyond the individuals that are making this pronouncement, right? So I want to come from a different background to say, if people who supported George Weah, who are in the inner cycle of the ruling coalition for democratic change, are now crying and withdrawing their political support because of unemployment, talk less of the ordinary Liberian people who cannot afford to meet George Weah every day, who don't have the opportunity to meet the party chairman, the minister of finance. So this is just a token of what is happening in the bigger society. So I think it is a statement in the right direction, and we are welcoming it not because we are selfish. We are welcoming it because it has just been truthful. Everywhere around the world, when people support a political cause, you support it to improve society either politically, economically, or socially. You don't support a cause to remain the same way. Okay, so if the CDC-led government has reneged deliberately to deliver on its promise of job creation, which for me is very key, because I know very well that a massive unemployment among the country's youthful population is a potential threat for instability. So every government that has the opportunity to lead a country like Liberia that is challenging every aspect of life in the 21st century, that government should base it itself. We're not playing football from 12 o'clock. St. George went West Point today. They say play football there. He plays football from Monday to Sunday when people are unemployed in the country. So as we engage the political process, these are the reasons why we say that the Weah government should not be given 1 day in the mansion beyond October 10. Because not only that they have failed to deliver on the campaign promises, but to even get the Liberian
not beyond October 10 now, because the election is October 10. It will be January.
I mean, if we will be defeated, we know by October 10. At this time, we know. So I'm saying beyond October 10, we should know that Weah doesn't have a single day in the mansion.
Okay,
so it's just a matter of time for me. Okay, so I was just saying that if a government has some basic challenges in terms of delivering on its promises, the government should also show seriousness. But in the case of Weah, they have reneged on the promises. Liberians have become the victim of broken promises, and they have shown no commitment. They have shown no seriousness to even show to the Liberian people that they can make improvement as we engage in the electoral process. So it's a slap in the face of our people. It's an insult that 6 years has gone to zero. So they were right for saying 0 years, because when you calculate where Liberia was when Weah became president, we could project where Liberia was heading. But at this point, all of the panelists here, regardless of our education, we cannot tell you where Liberia is heading on George Weah. I mean, so it's very much important.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. I'm going to go to Fagon. To you
Mr. Weah did not make any promises when he was running for president. He didn't promise anything.
Mr. Fagon, please hold on a second. We will come to you, Mr. Fagon, and then to Stanton, and then we'll move on to our next topic. You can.
I think I can give you lots of promises that President Weah made. The fact that he did not go to a debate, then maybe you were not following him. But don't forget, I was one of, if not the lead campaigner on social media, radio, and television. So if I say that he made promises, then I don't think there's a debate. But here is where I want to say, my learned brother, Councillor Kpagoy, listen, if this is what Tiawan's going to bring to the table, then I'm afraid for him. Because no one goes to a political gathering without taking a side as to what he or she wants to do for the people. It's all about power. Now, you think we went into a coalition of 3 political parties and beat those guys? When I say beat those guys, beat the Unity Party. 3 parties. And you won't tell me that when we took over, Eugene Nangbe will retain his seat. Was he a member of the coalition? Are you suggesting that the man, one of the men, along with Samuel Wosi, Dwana Sanyo, Kwame Weeks, all of us, no one could become Minister of Information but our opponent? Is that what you're suggesting? Are you suggesting?
Okay.
Are you suggesting Samuel Wulu was better than any other person in the coalition? Are you suggesting that Bezonga Finlay was better than any other person in the coalition? Are you suggesting that Vani Salif, Eternal Affairs, was better than anybody in the coalition? Are you suggesting that Daniel Zienka and Prince Johnson were better than anybody in the coalition? Are you suggesting that Celia Coffey, Mary Pro? Don't do that here, man. It was three political parties.
Thank you very much.
He
We are
took
going
the jobs
to learn
and gave it
how
to our opponents.
Disagree respectfully.
Yeah, I'm coming. But the people voted for change. They voted for change. But he did not change the people or the UP. He kept them there. And he ran the government from in his house.
When did you realize that?
Very good question. She will give me 30 seconds for me to respond.
Yeah, people.
Okay,
We
realize that.
Yeah,
But
you asked a very good question. You asked a very
don't want to have a
good question. When did you realize that? About the same time when 6 to 8 of your fellow compatriots, professionals such as yourself, were killed. About the time when I saw bag of rice leaving from 13 to 22, gasoline from 350 to 520, then paychecks from 150 to $45. Do I need to realize it before the truth can be told and felt? I think it's disingenuous because
hold on.
When I used to debate you, you were in a different party.
Mr. Fagon,
when I used to debate you,
Mr. Fagon, we are going to move on.
Yeah, when I used to debate
we
you,
are going
to
move on, Mr. Fagon.
Today,
we are going to move on. We are moving on right now.
Which party were you used to debate me? Which party I was in when you used to debate me?
If you cannot come in on this topic.
So
yeah, all right, guys. So we got to move on. Let's try to respect our moderator.
All of us can change. We are human beings.
And Fagon, you realized that today. Thank you for realizing.
Yeah.
No, in fact, I will please.
And I think with the moderator trying her best, let's try to listen. It is important. You call my name. What for? Because this thing they're getting juicy now. Actually, Daniel Sando, I had a question for him, but he had answered the question already.
Okay.
Because it is important to know that if we go back to say whether President Weah or CDC made a promise to MDR, to NPP, and all the other political parties that came to join the CDC at the time, it is important for us to understand, even here in the United States, people gave you something for their support. Kamala Harris, she had to step out of the race. Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, he's now transportation secretary. You think they just got there because it was okay and they ran against Joe Biden? No. Come on, man.
So
NPP, let me can I just rest?
Yeah, finish.
Dr. Richardson, you really want me on the show today? Or you don't want me on the show at all? I'm feeling so bad right now. She is. I'm feeling so bad right now. You really want me on the show? I mean, I can leave, But anyway, thank you, Dr. Richardson. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it. But let me say this.
You're not even
She's stopping me. I mean, but start interrupting me too now. Start interrupting me too.
Okay.
But yes, I don't like the way Wosi looking at me. Somebody tell you not to look at me, please. I don't like that look. It gets scary. But here's the thing, though. It is important for us to know a promise was made to Prince Johnson and MDR. Promise was made to NPP. But have you heard the name, the title, Greedy Hunter? You heard that? I'm asking you guys. President Weah and his group, they were Greedy Hunter, and they are Greedy Hunters. Go into another collaboration with them, you will get nothing, zero. because they believe all their many concubines, all the community team, all the 10 must have before your party people receive anything. Let's say it. The only person that was trying was Nathaniel Fallow McGill. I know that McGill told somebody, but my man, we spare your man. We didn't jail him. We gave him X, Y, and Z for him to take care of you.
30 seconds, please.
I was on the phone when McGill said that to that person. So stop coming and say we didn't help you. The reason why we gave him those things, the reason why we called him a slut, the reason why we are not prosecuting him, because he needs to take care of all of y'all that came with him. You are right, Counselor. The government can do but so much. But why would the government do but so much when they promised the people that they would create so many jobs? And when the time comes, they say, no, CDC got to eat first. I rest my case, Madam Moderator, because I don't like the way you treated me today, but I will
So
stop.
can I have a few seconds there?
Yes, actually, Mr. Parkour, and we're going to move on to the next topic, okay? I actually want to side with you on this issue against all of the people who are not siding with you, simply because I understand what you're speaking about. You are speaking about political parties are not supposed to have a mandate to promise job to people when they are elected. There are, like everybody said, supposed to be in the best interest of everybody, like national and personal interest of all. And your decision or your comment that, oh, if this party is elected, if this party is elected and they don't provide job for this group, then this group then will move on to the next party and start condemning this other party. That's kind of what you said here. So I actually believe that, yes, government's supposed to create the avenue for people to get jobs, and they're also supposed to create the betterment of people. But at the end of the day, that is not the only reason that you join political parties, so that you should get jobs. But I do understand where those guys are coming from. It saddens me to see them, you know, in the state that they're in. I empathize with them, but I also believe that, you know, you shouldn't join a political party because you want a job, or because you're your personal vendetta, or because you have issues. That is what caused the internal wrangling within the political party itself, the NPP, because people have their own personal motivation and their own personal gains. So if it's okay, we move on to our next topic.
I just want to point out something. The CDC did not promise anything. During the campaign, the PDP came post-government. When they took power, that's the time they said they will create 1 million jobs and all the kind of stuff. The people already knew that the guys will not do anything, and you decided to support them. After supporting them, when they decided to, as Stanton said, their 10, all that stuff, I think that's what you just said. He said their 10 got to eat before you. You should expect it. You didn't expect the guys.
Let me say your own, my man. Say your own. Don't repeat what I said. Say your own back.
The people who supported the guys, including Eugene, who supported the guys, including Eugene, did not expect anything better from them. So they shouldn't be pretending now that they expected the best to happen and it did not happen. They shouldn't be pretending. That's my point.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. I just want to make a.
It's 1 minute. We gotta move on, guys. It's 5:59 already. We gotta move on. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Wozi.
Yeah, quickly. I want to respectfully disagree with Councilor Marco. I think he's the guy who was in charge of coordinating the presidential debates, right? Are you not? Are you the one?
Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah.
I coordinated.
I was the one who received the letter you sent to the CDC on 2 occasions, and I was in charge of responding to that. I even didn't deliver our response to you. We used to run a show on one of the local radio stations called the CDC Platform Talk. And then it was Dr. Gateway McIntosh, Professor Day Ansu Sonin, Professor Wilson Tapper, and I. The 4 of us were in charge of that program. So we didn't go to election without a clear-cut platform, as you are insinuating on the show. I think you should take that back respectfully. I know on many occasions you got at us, you used that platform to attack us on many occasions. You
No,
have
I
some
didn't.
personal issues.
I didn't. I didn't
Behind
attack.
our organization.
I did not
So
do
there is
that.
a notable attack against our institution, which
I
I
did
understand.
nothing of such.
And so,
We
but I
invited your
think,
presidential candidate for a debate.
I
and
think,
he
you
didn't
know,
Councillor, wait, you will have your time to respond, please.
yeah. So I think I see that you're trying to smartly present yourself as somebody who have never hired a SAR, and now you are supporting Councillor Gonglo. You are now a new person in this business. You use that your platform to attack, to throw stone and hide your hands during the elections. We know that. That's why we did not. Our standard bearer at the time did not appear on your platform because you already have political motives, hardly beyond NGO. And so I'm afraid now that you are with Gonglo, if you don't have extra motives, you know. So
Mr. Wasi, actually, your comment, though.
Wasi, it is wrong to attack Councillor Kpagbo for doing a
No,
professional.
I'm not attacking. I am not attacking.
That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not.
I don't think that is not an attack. It's
That's
just
not
this
an
is who
attack.
you are. And he
I'm
said
not
yes.
attacking. I'm making the
I'm going to
reference.
brief everybody in the show if you guys are not
Guys,
quiet.
let's listen to the moderator. She will give everyone else time to speak, please.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move
Me,
on.
I finished putting my evidence in the chat
The
room.
subject matter in which
Dr. Regency, let me just clarify something that.
Mr. Parker, we're asking everybody to be quiet and you don't want to
Mr.
talk.
Wozi said something about me that I need to clarify.
No, well, that's okay. You're going to have a closing moment. Everybody have 2 minutes to close. Please prepare a comment to respond to Wozi, okay?
Please click on my link in the chat room. I finished.
Well, let me just move forward. Let me just tell you guys, just please listen to what I have to say to you, okay? Wozi, we're going to move on to our next topic, and please bring topics
they are very bad.
about. Okay, so James Goudet, can you play our next topic here?
But Dr. Richardson, can I appeal to you? Can Councillor reply to Wozi? This was a hard one. Can he please? I'm appealing to you.
Well, if y'all want to start an argument,
it's not an argument, but just give me
please click on my link in the chat room. Now,
just give him few seconds. Let you just reply.
At the onset of the program, Dr. Richardson asked me to introduce myself, and I indicated that in 2000, I started getting involved in Liberian politics, and I was one of the first people who encouraged Councillor Bromsky to run for president in Liberia. So we formed the Friends of Bromsky. So everybody who knows me from back then knows that I had a political position. So I was not hiding anything. 2005, I was in the Bromsky campaign. After we lost the elections, I went private. I started working for the Liberia Media Center. I didn't get involved in politics again until recently when I started working on the Gonglo campaign. So to say I was working for an NGO and hiding my hand, I have never been somebody of such character. There's no reason for me to do that. We invited you people to a debate, and you people thought that it was not necessary for your presidential candidate to talk. You thought it was in his best interest to be quiet, and that's the reason why you people didn't show up. We didn't do anything. We didn't attack you people, nothing of the kind. Absolutely nothing. I was never on any radio program talking about so we are in any negative way. Never did that when I was running that program.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I beg to differ because y'all heard me in my statement when I said when I used to debate Lamy. Lamy was what Councillor. This is one of the men that took up my ear from my head in debates. This is one of the men I used to battle with.
You used to issue very powerful press releases, attacking back to back, and receiving donor fundings and using for political.
But two of you talking at the same time.
Wait. Let me say, President Weah did not promise anything. Can you tell him the reference I put that September 6, 2017, Front Page African newspaper? George Weah promises to create
jobs. That up, please, for us. Let James work on it.
You are talking to the men who are taking instruction to say things.
Eugene, let us not.
And those people you heard talking today, they are not Japanese. They are not Chinese. They are Liberians.
But let me just say something. I think we are at a point where the whole country is regretting the election of Weah as president. And Spoon is a very reputable platform. And I see my friend Wozi, interestingly, Wozi and I went to the same secondary school together. I see Wozi is justifying why they shielded We Are ignorance.
No. That's not what I'm doing here.
That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
But Wozi, you gotta wait. We gotta protect Daniel tonight. Wozi, wait.
Is protected.
Yeah. But can I say? Wait, take it down, James. James, take it down. Madam Moderator, can we have our own free 2 minutes to say what we want to say? It looks like that's the direction we are going now.
At this moment, Sano is on the floor. That's Sano. Let me hear from Sano.
Thank you.
Because the Liberia Media Center has organized a debate, and I, as media officer to Councillor Bromsky, I accompanied Councillor Bromsky to the debate. Mr. Cummings went there, Ure went there, Ambassador Baga went there, and Bromsky went there. The reason why the country is not moving forward because we tend to undermine every effort that has been made to strengthen our democracy. I think the debate was an opportunity for the presidential candidate to present a platform. But I recall vividly that even though George Weah absconded from the debate, but Wozi then have people outside under the ring insulting Councillor Bromsky, insulting Cummings, insulting Baga, and saying they're not debate with it. Today, we find ourselves in a vacuum. You're saying to others, we are implementing anybody's job. Why? Because he didn't go to the debate. He didn't go to the debate. Thankfully, we have people who work with the NAMO that were following George Weah, and the thousands of promises he made on the campaign trail were documented. And today, with almost 6 years being wasted, nothing has been achieved. So it is nothing to boast about. The organizers of the debate were not independent, they were not impartial, and so that's why you advised George Weah to not go there. You didn't help the country. That debate was an opportunity to allow people to decide which way to vote for, who to vote for. But here you are now. As a strategy in the CDC, you said we should not go there because my good friend Lamik Bagbo is not independent. Malcolm Joseph is not independent. And so we are absconded. He didn't say anything to the Liberian people. He became president. They cut and paste and copy document from other places around the world and say they got PAPD. The PAPD today, they cannot even work in line with the PAPD. 6 years gone, we did a policy brief for the PAPD at the graduate school. There's no implementation framework for the PAPD. So it's just a compilation of vague promises to the Liberian people, and which is very sad. It's not something to take pride in and to be boasting about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sandu. So we're gonna then move our conversation to Mr. Fagon. Did you want to put your page up about?
No, is that the 2 minutes now?
Yes, everybody's gonna go. We're gonna start with Fagon.
So Fagon 2 minutes starts.
Yes.
But see, you got the timer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Fagon go to 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go to Parkour, and then we're gonna Stanton for the guy and the rest.
So let me state for the record. The fact that President Weah, and I'm not trying to say, but I'm going against what you said that we were trying to shield President Weah, and so we got what we got today. So you think President Weah went on the campaign trail singing songs to the Liberian people, that he went on the campaign and did not pitch his platform to the people? He did not talk to the people and tell them? Here is the evidence they just put out. George Weah promises to create jobs for Liberia if elected. September 6th. You don't think he was pitching his stuff?
Did he tell you how the debate was constructed in the town?
We're protecting right now.
Reset my time. Reset.
No, we're not resetting your time. We're protecting
my
time.
Daniel, I gotta add 30 seconds to the man time. Daniel,
no,
don't interrupt him, please.
It's like what Sando is trying to do is to tell the Liberian people that, oh, there was no Fagon, there was no Wozi. What we did, we sold our party and we sold our platform. And the Liberian people bought it. They bought it.
Yeah, Liberian people.
Just because you buy shoes, you're supposed to wear it with socks. If you don't wear it with socks, your toe will sweat, the shoe will stink, and the shoe will get rotten. What we have today is not something we all expected. And that's our focus. But we sold to the Liberian people what we felt was good enough. It turned out to be bad. It's our fault. We take responsibility for it. But to sit here and say, no, we should have gone to a debate. So you think when he was going Nimba, Pommy, Cape Man, and talking to the Liberian people, what was he talking? Was he talking Japanese? No. So I think it's unfair. But we've proven to Lami that yes, President Weah did make promises, and we've shown evidence. That's why we're regarded as facts versus fiction. When we sit here, we tell you the truth.
Okay, thank you very much for staying within the time frame. Fadika and then Stanton.
Well, man, this government, we all know that where this government is. I listened to Eugene Fagon, and this is I might have to defer with him a little. These guys saw a bad product. Anybody that started Joe Weah and knew him from the beginning, he possessed all the.
But what did you disagree for that? I just said
Fagon. I'll give you record soon.
You saw damaged goods. That's the problem. Look, this man possessed everything of a man that should never be anywhere near the corridor of power. The man possessed all the different bad behavior. He promiscuous, he flamboyant, he has shown to be a playboy. You grab that man, you give him unlimited access to resources, and this is what you get. This guy came to power in less than 1 month. He built a whole city. Bulldoze is up, very bold. Bold, he ain't even hiding it. We all knew what Joe. I was just looking at a report from James Bestman the other day, one of his friends, and people were worried. This man have been around drugs all the time. The drugs.
Fagon got red card. Fagon got red card.
Fagon got red card.
I already want to go to the people party where they invite me up. Then you say I get red card going.
You're going nowhere. You stay here until the party is starting until 7 o'clock.
But American soccer we playing. You go outside, you spend 2 minutes, come out.
Whatever. Go ahead.
So I'm not surprised where we are. Look, this man. But honestly, I think President Weah is a blessing in disguise. The CDC needed to come to power for Liberian people to see. Now the argument that I can do it better, that you can toolcast it, ain't not on the table anymore. You can't promise the people anymore. What more can you promise the Liberian people? The people will be insane to vote to even look that. My man, that's only you did with that time. Oh yeah, all right. I had my in there. So this made me to lose my train of thought here. All right. So what I was saying is everybody knew we expected this to happen, but this thing needed to happen. Look, this man stood in the way of every viable candidate. Nobody knew. He was just there. He was like a leech in our body politics. Now people know what I listened to the man the other day say, I didn't want to be in it yet. Other people didn't put in there. Now he's trying to deflect the blame. And now I know he's saying that in the current say, my man, you're in Waja, the boy out of going there because he's just the figurehead. The mean reign leaders are in the back just feeding him, feeding his ego. And honestly, where we are now, we are at a better place that we can make better decisions. If you look within the opposition, we got a minefield of reputable, competent individual that I think can move this country forward. Let us look in the top one of the person. Everybody can win. Some people got the more experience. Some people have more likability. Some people more known in the country than other people. That is why election is. That person will win. Let us rally against that person and change this thing and move our country forward because giving it to another 6 years, I don't know whether we even have a country again left.
Thank you, Falcon. Thank you, Fadiga. Stanton.
Can I switch my time because I'm trying to upload a video. Can I switch my time with Mr. Woolsey?
Sure.
Thank you.
Woolsey?
Mr. Woolsey.
Yeah, thank you. I think the conversation is really interesting. And let me try to smartly avoid responding to Councillor Lami Bakor because I see that he's feeling very uncomfortable by virtue of his facial expression. I don't want to be very that kind of way. And but my good Comrade Sano, I love your analysis. You talk about Liberians have become victims of broken promises, and that have been one of my concerns. I use a specific choice of words. I think day before yesterday when I appeared on the show, I said the Blue Revolution was hijacked. And certain people have created this cloud around the president that they are more loyal to him than anybody. Can you imagine that some of us have been labeled as opposition, although we are still seditions? And then they say, why? Because we disagree sometimes to agree. So they don't want that. And I asked somebody, when I heard on radio that I was dismissed, I called. The first person I called was the former minister, Nathaniel Magay, and I asked him. He said, "Oh, Ozzy, I'm home. I don't even know about your dismissal." So I was somewhere on that day when it happened. So I went back to my office and I met Minister Eugene Nabwe and scores of ministers having a small party. And interestingly, my boss, former boss then, Fagon, was invited to that gathering, and he was embarrassed because he didn't feel good hearing about the dismissal of his immediate deputy, and then you having a whole party in the minister's office. So it's that people were celebrating my dismissal. But why? Because there is internal power struggle, there is witch hunt going on inside the CDC, and people will tell you that the party is united. No. People are disenchanted. That's why I continue to say that not even the CDC or any other opposition party can win the elections on its own as one institution. And no party have got the capacity to win the first round. So if, for example, if the CDC will be booted out of power, it have to be through strategic synchronization of interest, consensus building, and the burying of ego. So, and I believe strongly that with all of the holy battles in the CDC and the internal deception and hypocrisy and all the kind of stuff, now any party or any coalition, a bloc, could easily win the elections. So I don't just want to say the CDC did not live up to a commitment or did not go to the elections without a campaign promise or a commitment. No. The CDC have got a platform, and that platform was released to the public. Unless people like Councillor Parker, who is not aware of that, because he was in that process as a politician, hiding behind NGO and getting donor funding and operating behind the scene, showing students hiding his hands. So I submit.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wazi. Do you want to go back to you? Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. That's my time, right?
Mr. Sanu.
All right. So you please watch my clock if I go.
Okay. Oh, you don't trust me?
So
it says we watching
everything, but what made me happy?
All right. So no, James, play my clip. James,
everything, but what made me happy? Because I made a lot of people happy. That made me happy. I don't care who say you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. Because if I was somebody where you got to be me, then today we'll not be talking. You were not here when CDC took me from their leadership. Did I complain? I stayed there. I wanted to be even a sweeper in CDC because I believe that we are a team, and this team that we got here, that you gave us the six years you gave us, our team. You know what I'm saying? Like I said to the cabinet meeting, gentlemen, thank you. Because in so many years, what we didn't see in 5 years, this is what we apply. So congratulations. If the Liberian people give us another chance, let us do more and let's leave the legacy we want to leave. So I don't have time for you can't do this, you can't do that. Look, I'm a focused person. And like I said, I'm not, it's sad to say that I'm not a politician. I was brought on board by these people. And the people brought me because they wanted something. You understand? So what we're doing now, the Liberian people just got to take care of it. You know what I'm saying? This thing happened, we go to Nigeria, we see it, we go to Ivory Coast, we admire it, and we come back, we don't have it. But I travel the world. Everything that I see in the world that's supposed to be applied in Liberia, will trust me, we will do it. You know, a PHP will soon be done. It's 85%. And so I'm a determined, focused person. I don't get time. Anybody who want to move me is your business. And you understand? But that's why I go into the election. I can persuade my people to say, look, we're all doing nothing. You voted for me, but I've done so much. You understand? I've done so much in the 6 years you gave me. You understand? And I should Liberian people vote for me again. You know, I'm now going from one TV to another TV to justify what I can do. My fingerprints are all over the place. You understand? All over the place. It's not by mouth. You understand? It's the handwork. So I'm glad that Clarion people happy. Because.
So. Now I can start my time.
Yeah,
It's important for us to really, really, really go through that clip. At the end, President George Manuel Weah said, my fingerprint is everywhere. I beg you guys, I hate to take the show from Dr. Richardson, but he's right. My fellow Liberians, the president has said the truth to you. His fingerprint is everywhere. Fagon, you laughing. I hate when you do this. Donald Sano, you say you want to come on our show and you laughing at me. I'm getting so angry right now. The president's fingerprint is everywhere. Extrajudicial killing, the president's fingerprint. Oh, no. Why was he left? Why was he left? I didn't start until he had a man left.
He coming back.
No. The president said, hey, James, can you go to the last part where the president said my fingerprint is everywhere? I didn't say it. Extrajudicial killing, the president's fingerprint is everywhere under this government. The worst system that you have over $140 million drugs that came into our country, making all of our fellow men and women to turn themselves into Zocos. The president's fingerprint. And the people are set free. Corruption to the highest. That 3 of your closest cabinet ministers and directors were put on sanctions. The president fingerprint. And Liberians need to listen to this. Your children selling candy, banana, roasted cassava, no school, no education. The president fingerprint. He got elected. In the first 2 years, the president took care of himself than taking care of the Liberian people. He built his mansions, his apartment that is now called Jamaica Resort. All his ministers building fortified homes that worth millions of dollars. President George Manuel Weah fingerprint. You can see it. You are seeing it today. JFK people under hospital arrest. If you do not pay, you cannot leave. You don't even have paracetamol. President George Manuel Weah fingerprint. Why should we even laugh? That the Richard said, no. Today, Pa, I disagree and I beg for one more minute. As a former CEO, I beg for one more minute.
Granted.
Thank you. I don't hear what Fagon saying in our business. When Mobile Model said it was a liquor talk and said this government and the president, people say, oh, Mobile Model. When Joe Howard said they will give you their money, eat it, but don't vote for them. The president fingerprint is everywhere. Darkness. 6 p.m. Everybody go in their homes like chicken. And the country turn into total darkness. President Weah fingerprint. Robert International Airfield Road will never be fixed under this administration. If you're driving at night, I will encourage you, stay at the Fermerton Hotel and try to drive in during the day. President George Manuel Weah fingerprint. $11 million for rice subsidies. Commerce ministers and Nathaniel Finance Minister Samuel Twe, Samora Wodokori, they chopped the $11 million. The president fingerprint. So we should say it like we mean it, and we should say it for our people to understand. I don't know whose cell phone going off, but it's okay. President George Manuel Weah fingerprint is everywhere. We can see it, we can feel it, we know it. Till up to today, the president refused to go to the executive mansion. He telling his people that he doesn't want to go to the mansion anymore. He will work from Jamaica or from his home in Rehab or probably from the Fokleton Church. Because of his fingerprint, our children being raped, sodomized, and The doers walk free. President George Manneh fingerprint. So spare me. And don't tell me because you paid the 2 for 5 part. You say you go to Nigeria, you saw it. But you know how many Nigerians contributing to the country have earned degrees from Western world and they have returned to the country with everything they have. Billions in infrastructures, billions in educations. But every day you cannot reach that 1 billion, but you cry and say you got surplus. 4 months, people ain't getting paid. Hey man, Councillor Bakor, President George Manneh, we have fingerprint. It's clear. And let's continue the show, folks. We will play that clip again.
Okay, so I believe we go to Fariga now.
No, I thought it was Daniel Sando.
It's
Daniel Sando, yeah.
Sando,
Daniel
okay,
Sando,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Check your phone.
Thank you.
So let me just digress a little bit and begin from where the CEO stopped. And I thought when I heard this news, I thought it was the regular gossip. My source tells me that since we are returned to the country from the CIA visit, he has never entered the executive mansion. And this is where I think WIA is giving us sufficient signal that he's tired of the presidency. He's tired of the presidency. That the president is in country, he's well and okay, but he doesn't work from the executive mansion. He rather work from home. And so when I listen to the president try to tie the progress of the country to these meaningless projects that he carry on, I tend to wonder whether Mr. We already understand the country he governing. Because if you know that this country is so challenged that there is no paracetamol in JFK, you don't have the unbridled audacity to stand on the camera and say, I've succeeded. Everywhere I go, I see development. What manner of development is more important than improving the health sector of this country so that people who live miles away from the hospitals, when pregnant women are coming to the hospital, they don't give birth on the highway, and those children don't die while the mothers are giving birth. That brother in the country, check the record. Maternal mortality rate still high. Infant mortality rate still high. And our president built a park in West Point. West Point look like a place that need park. West Point is becoming a criminal subculture in Monrovia. That any serious government will be focused on giving that identical area that is so prone with crime and criminality to say, they'll build more schools. They'll build modern hospitals in West Point. Our president doesn't care. All we have things that the presidency is about playing football. That's why he has exhibited from day one. And I have said to many persons that is more interested in the pleasantry of the presidency than the actual work of the presidency. This man doesn't have the discipline to sit down and read through documents for 3-4 hours. He doesn't have the discipline. So what we this year is we have spent more time on the park than he does to the executive mansion. It is just terribly unfortunate for our country that even as challenged as we are, we have a president who doesn't even understand what the country is going through. He doesn't understand.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel Sado. And folks, let me say this, Dr. Richardson just had to take a few minutes break. I would say this to all of us again. You will be seeing these faces. We'll be having a very important, quiet conversation. It is interesting today. You can come and make your case. You can contribute the best way you can because Liberia deserves better. Councillor Lamine, and then we'll go to Al Hussein, we'll go to Wozi, and Fagon will take us to the phone line. It's 6:30. I know Councillor Lamine is in studio, so we'll respect that you have to be leaving shortly. So we have to end the show on time. Councillor Lamine Bakor.
Okay, so I would take a little bit of time to just point out the fact that we have a serious governance problem in this country presently. And every one of you guys have said it. The problem is ingrained The problem is serious. And I was in Vonjima a couple months ago. I was in a conversation with some young people, and I told them, I said, there's a saying that when you have a bad ailment, you need a strong medication, right? Liberia has a very bad ailment right now. And it's not only from that clip that you just played. I mean, it's obvious to all of us who live in this country or who have things to do here, who interact with the country. The country is ailing. The country is ill. The country is in a very bad state. It's on all of us, not just to remove these people and replace them with another group of people who will do the same thing. Whoever we replace them with, we have to make sure that those people do not repeat these same things. We've wasted 6 years, because I'm just going to say we're already in January. We wasted 6 years that we could have avoided wasting. Wasted 6 years that we could have avoided wasting. The past 5 years, I don't think we've gotten 1 year, proper 1 year out of the past 5 years. We cannot afford to continue making these errors over and over. Some of us are born in this country to conflict, and we've lived totally through conflict and chaos, and we continue to live through conflict and chaos. We cannot continue experimenting our lives with people who come to power because they want to line their pockets with money. They want to satisfy themselves. They want to do for the tenting, as Stanton said. We got to get away from those things. The issue of this drug trial that happened recently, I mean, I actually thought that was going to be one of our major focus tonight. The drug trial that happened recently that ended up with a not guilty verdict pretty much on all counts. I mean, that's one of the worst things that we can do to ourselves. When you decide that, I mean, the basic moral fabric of your society doesn't matter anymore. And I was happy. These guys are in power right now. I think they've given up. They've done more than their best. They cannot do more than what they've done over the past 5 years. So what we should be focusing on now is when we replace them, whoever we replace them with, we cannot give that person the luxury of the things the people did. When Mr. Weah came to power in 2018 and he started building those as Fadika said, he built or city or something like that. That was the point we should have told him no. There should have been a serious issue at that point, because that set the stage for the rest of the period, the rest of the time in office. That particular action that he took that was not resisted, it set the stage for the remainder of the time. You have, and one of the reasons why I said those people who were talking about the job thing, we should not encourage it, we should condemn it, because at the end of the day, whoever they support, if that person wins tomorrow, they expect that they should be able to build their own mansions too, and we should say nothing about it. We cannot afford to allow our country to continue down the same path. There are people who think that being the leader is the easiest job. And I will just close on this point. A colleague and I and myself were discussing recently. I told a colleague, I said, when Obama came to power in the US, Obama was this young, shiny young guy. By the time Obama left 8 years later, he was an old man. He looked ragged. But look at our man, Mr. Weah. When Mr. Weah came to power, he looked old. I mean, the presidency is a tough piece of job, right? But the man is leaving, the man looks younger than when he came in. That tells you that he's not been doing any real work. That's why it tells you, anybody who's really serious about doing this work, it takes a lot of time. This is a broken society. This is pretty much a failed state. You cannot afford to give it to people who think their own job is just sitting there in the corner and giving orders and getting money and using it whichever way they want to use it. So we have to be focused on how we move our country forward. I mean, some of us have gotten to the point where we're getting old. So we have to be thinking about our kids.
Yeah. Thank you, Councillor. And again, let me announce, Councillor will be a contributing panelist on Spoon Talk as we move forward. And we'll be having some very, very serious discussion. And Councillor, we discussed the drugs issue a few days ago. So sorry that you were absent, but we did. Fadika?
Yeah, I mean, just to buttress what the councillor said, look, sometimes I don't even know whether to scream, yell, cry, or say anything for that country. But I mean, the only thing I can say to a lot of our folks back home that honor the sound of our voices here today is that decision you make today will be a reality tomorrow. The decision you make in October will be a reality for the next 6 years. Look, like you said, that analogy you gave about Barack Obama is so true. We that knew President Weah, from what I follow him and follow his lifestyle and where he was prior to ascending to the presidency, we know where he was. This man came, he wasted no time. From the private jet to boost his morale, we all listen to that thing and say, I need more jet. It's like this guy was paying back for everything that he squandered when he was a soccer star. I mean, the worst thing you can do for your people, I mean, this man was never poor. He God bless him. He had an opportunity that 99.9% of our people never had. He could have been anything from soccer. I mean, he made the money, he did a lot of things. But when he came back and they gave him that second chance, this man came back to repay himself and pay all those people. And that's the worst thing about this government. And you know, another thing again, he has done it with impunity. The fact that we have a very weak opposition, and I say this not I don't say it like that. I say this with a heavy heart that this government, this president is starting to have God complex because he has never been punished for what he has done to the Liberian people. This man will leave the country for 48 days and come back and nothing happened. This man will spend money unnecessarily. Infuse $1.5 million in the budget to give to his wife, and people sit there and allow it to happen. In the US, the first lady don't have no special budget. Whatever go to the executive, they can do it. He jump around and bring all this. Look, this government has just been a mirage of deception. This man, what they do here is they go around the country carrying all these vain projects, just to quantify success. They believe that if they can deceive the people long enough and they will just keep doing this thing. They put one thing. Look, strategically, that park that was built right to that old road junction there, it was very strategic. It was just there to be this flowery decoration. That's what happened. And the worst thing about this project is that they are using it as a conduit to embezzle money. The money that was spent on those projects cannot even commensurate the structure that was put in place. And so you go around, you do not do any feasibility study, you do not do any need assessment. Yeah, we need some of these things. You go around and build market store. In a place that the people, Marco Tati was setting on the road, were making more money here into as a later place that nobody can go, she's not even making money again. But you got this beautiful flowery structure there. And when you say, you know what, I spent $5 million. That $5 million they could do it. You jump on, you give people free Wi-Fi. I grew up, went to high school, college in Liberia. I don't even know of any of our parents, even the poorest of poor, that ever complain about paying a student Wi-Fi or whatever fee. They always have some money to pay those fees. You jump on, you give it. Even the greatest country in the world, education is not free. I mean, primary education, but university is not free. Some are racking thousands of dollars in student loan because it is not free. You look at a country that can barely afford, and you say you give it free food. All these things are just things to deceive the people. There is no set priority. This guy came with all a plan and he's showing. I hope we can get it all in October because that's the only solution to this problem.
Thank you, Fadiga. Wozi?
Yeah, thank you, Stanton. I listened to the analysis from of my fellow panelist, the one from Lami, talk about, he raised an important issue. We talk about the non-guilty verdict on the drugs trial, and I'm actually disappointed in our jurisprudence for such a poor legal action. The thing is clear that those people who were accused were actually culpable of the crime. They were the one who coordinated the importation of use of substance in our country. So it just clearly speaks to the level of insensitivity and the level of consent to whatsoever people have been saying about the system, that people within the ransom file of the structure were directly responsible for the importation of drugs in our country. And mind you, at least I remind you that the U.S. Department of Justice labeled our country as a country where there is so much extrajudicial killings, drug smuggling, money laundering, and different forms of criminality, which is very bad. So such a verdict confirms the U.S. Department of Justice's opinion on why it is like back home in Africa. And the other issue about the system operating on the basis of impulse, porn, and pleasantry, trying to modify the analysis of my good friend and brother Sando, I think it's a concern. When people say, there was this unplanned, quote-unquote, cabinet retreat in Grand Bassa, where maybe it was organized overnight and one of the ministers refused to show up. It speaks to running the system on the basis of impulse, porn, and pleasantry. I mean, usually when you do that, it will make you to spend a lot of money unnecessarily. It means that you are operating outside budgetary appropriation and a clearly organized governance mechanism, which is unfortunate, and we did not elect a government to operate in such a style. So, lastly, it's important to note and to clearly agree with a good number of our people that people are suffering back home, and the Blue Revolution was hijacked from the very beginning, and there is so much power struggle, witch hunt, hypocrisy within our party. And I think if the CDC must resecure the presidency, it's important for the CDC to reconcile with itself as an institution first. I've flagged on many occasions few issues. One of those issues that I flagged specifically, I think last month, with one of the executives of the party was the issue of the Standard Bearer reaching out to people. For example, the first chairman of the party, Joshua Saki, is back home. He cannot even afford to buy even a bicycle. What wrong did he do so much to deserve such abandonment? You have other founding members who are there. So the first step to prove that you are a party that is committed to genuine reconciliation is to first of all reconcile with yourself. Which we fail to do. Now you are saying we are going to win first round. How possible is that? Is it that somebody at the National Elections Commission has agreed to give us the elections before the election even take place on October 10th? Or what? Because from elementary mathematical perspective, analytical perspective, from all indications, we have a lot of internal issues that we've not resolved. So until we resolve the issue, it will be very difficult for us to get re-elected. And mind you don't want us to experience what we experienced with the 2 elections. What kind of insult we didn't insult the law? What kind of running around we didn't run around? What kind of money we didn't spend? So going back to our old record, it has proven that using money to win is not possible because the people are not stupid. I watched some kind of clip on social media. Some people in Lofa giving money to a few ladies to say on the radio they were supposed to see. Look, I'm from Lofa. I know how Lofa politics works. And I can tell the senator there who say he was elected. I know he's a one-term senator because the condition that existed during the time he was declared winner may just not exist at the time of the next elections. So he better do his homework because we all know exactly what happened. So
thank you very much.
I don't care if somebody call me opposition. What do I give up? I mean, I don't give anything about that. But I want to provide my own analysis because we have more to lose. The people who the president gave the government to run, like my good friend, Mr. Eugene Nabwe, Mr. Tue, other people, trust me, once their jobs are secure, once they have their people who they recommended to, most of whom are non-citizens, once those jobs, those positions are protected by the president, and those guys are not dismissed from those positions, and they're getting their money, they don't give anything if CDC wins or not.
Thank you very much, Mr. Woolsey. Thank you. We appreciate it. Bring it down to Sando. Fagon will have his last word, then we try to wrap this thing up. Today, Sando, we got to go chill. Daniel Sando, go ahead, my friend.
Just lastly, before I've just asked Jim to play the clip, the video clip that was circulating on Facebook from from our challenge Bromsky, so we can respond and then we go to the lines.
It's part of your 2 minutes, so you can go ahead.
I just want James to play the clip.
He's gonna play the clip first, and you're gonna have your 2 minutes, okay?
Okay.
James. Of Honorable Joseph Newman Boyka and told him not to pick Nyamli. I myself, I heard Daniel Sando say on Abrije, not they say, he said it. It is a wickedness. It is a more divisive tactic that is meant to destroy Joseph Boyka, Honorable Joseph Boyka. It's meant to belittle and minimize Senator Nyamli Kanga Lawrence, and the intent was to destroy any political future I would have in this district and in the country. In 2017, there were a group calling themselves United Bassa Citizens Against Bromsky Election. But I say to you today, Daniel Sando is more destructive, he is more wicked, he is more divisive than any of those people who went against Bromsky. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. And we condemn what they did. They went from Bassa to Bong to Nima, and they said to now vote for Councillor Bromsky. Today, some of them are our friends and brothers. They have explained to me they regret doing that. They explained to me that my father called them and they met with Councillor Bromsky in Hotel Buchanan before the elections, and they reconciled and said what they did was wrong and they are sorry. I have done nothing to these people. In December 10th, the day before my rally, my mother, the widow of Councillor Charles Walker Bromsky, came to Buchanan City for our rally. The same man who is the spokesperson in our senator's office, my big sister office, went on the radio and said to the Bassa people, do not go out tomorrow. Liberty Party is not endorsing a candidate. They have tried to destroy my political future from the day I stepped foot into Grand Bassa County. But the God that we serve and the people of this county have said no to divisive politics. I have never. The Bassa people are tired of divisive politics. Yes. He is not a man from Bassa, but every day he comes here on our radio station and he's fighting me and beating me. It's not good. It does not bode well for Senator Lawrence. She is my big sister. I want to say clearly today and unequivocally, and I hope that Honorable Joseph Newman Boyka can hear me talking, because I know he himself will come on the radio. I have never sat in the living room with Honorable Boyka. Number one, with Boyka. Me and Boyka never went to a Boyka house together. Number two, when I went to visit Uncle Joe, at no point in time did we talk about Senator Lawrence or his vice presidential candidate. Who am I that the Honorable Joseph Newman Boyka will come to me and say, Shani Bromsky, what do you think? You think I should take Nyamli? Does it make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? And number two, the senator was very close to him. She is supporting him. What influence do I have over him that she will not have more influence? He will listen to me, he will listen to her. And number three, if I had conversation with Honorable Joseph Boyka, it would have been Uncle Joe supports me in the district. It will not be Uncle Joe don't carry Nyamli. So the wickedness needs to stop. Bassa, it's a new generation of Bassonians. That divisive, that the wicked tactics that you had that keeping our county down. I want you to look at the people in this audience. There are seditious here. There are Liberty Party here. There are UP people here. There are young and old, because we are tired of the same old politics. We are ready to elevate Grand Bassa to another level. And nothing will stop us. If you say we should stay in the district, if we stay in the district and we win, I will go to Matthew Joe Stafford. I will say, come work with us. If we decide we are not going, that we will be the vice senator bearer to CPP, I can tell you, we will win. We will win with resounding numbers, because a new Grand Bassa will come on board and will support our endeavors. Papa, I never met me and Honorable Joe Boyka. I never talked about Nyamli. I believe what happened. I believe that when Unity Party was doing their survey, because they had to do polling, they had to do assessment, I I believe they looked at Bassa. They said, is there a united Grand Bassa? Westenga, Bronsky, Kanga Lawrence, Bauer Brown, all of these people, Matthew Joe, Vincent Willie, Al Bachu, I believe that they did an assessment and they said, is Grand Bassa together? If we choose someone from Grand Bassa, what would the numbers look like? But to say that I am...
Go ahead, Donald Sando.
Well, 2 minutes may not be sufficient to grant a response to this thing, but I just thought to firstly indicate that I feel very sorry for Charlene Bromsky, because from all indications, it's a decoy. She's being used by people unknowingly, and she keep creating more problems for herself. The statement that I made on the radio, I know she feel hurt about it because it is a truth. When you listen to her response, she's very contradicting. At one point, she said she never sat with Ambassador Bwaka before. At one point, she's saying that she visited him, but she didn't mention Nyomdi's name. And this is a public medium. You know, I've gotten to like Ambassador Bwaka because of the person he is. He doesn't keep gossip. If Eugene Fagon went to Ambassador Bwaka and gossiped about Stanton, he would call Stanton and say, this is what Eugene Fagon said. So the news that Charlene Bromsky and some other people from Bassa who are fighting and doing everything in their might to tear down Senator Lawrence and the Liberty Party, the news that they have gone to Ambassador Bwaka asking him not to name her, the Bassa people has greeted that news with shock and dismay. And I know that Charlene Bromsky is troubled by that. That's why she's responding in that kind of furious manner. But the fact remains that this is what it did. Nyomli is no more troubled about she not being named by Bwaka. She has done the unthinkable. They thought they were doing it to hurt her. But as a person who is patriotic, who knows what is at stake for this country, the whole plot has been revealed. The very people who came to Bassa, some of them fell flat on the belly in the living room here and were begging Nyomli. When they were begging her, they thought she was so angry, so they opened out their guts and exposed all of their plots. So we know everything that happened. They want to use Senator Lawrence to disintegrate the vote, to take away the vote for Ambassador Bwaka. The whole battle was to distance or to separate Nyomdi Kanga Lawrence from Ambassador Bwaka. The way to stop him from winning the election. And who benefits from all these things? George Weah. And so when we look through that plot and say, it is not in the interest of the country to be fighting to separate Nyomdi Kanga Lawrence from Ambassador Bwaka. The AFC people told us that Nyomdi not naming Bwaka, they were part of it. But we were not worried about it. She's not worried about it. Because the survival of this country is bigger than anybody's personal political ambition. So we have exposed the plot. It is no personal attack against anybody. We just wanted the Bassa people to know that the people who seek leadership, what character do they bear? Are you a double-faced liar who go to somebody's house in the night, take gossip, and lie about something you don't know, and in the morning you come on the radio and say something else? Are you as terrible and dangerous like a double-headed serpent, moving from place to place and tearing apart political alliances? This is wrong. And I think the sooner my sister Charlene get to realize that she's being used by these people to tear down Joseph Bwaka, who benefits.
Let me interrupt you. I know we're going to have you again. You will have your time to continue this explanation. We're going to have you again, Sando, but we got 6 more minutes to 7 and 6 to 11 in Liberia. I want to bring in Frygon, but I want to ask you, because this is the Spoon Talk. If you say people using Charlene, who are some of those folks? You care to call names?
Well, obviously, Musa Berete is one of those persons. He's a double agent of the government. We've told them, and when Louis Brown, Gateway McIntosh, Yafa Bakbe, and Henry Yala came to negotiate for Senator Lawrence to be running mate to Cummings, they themselves confirmed to us that in the ANC, they now know that Musa is a double agent who works for the government. One of those persons who is also using Charlene Bromsky to fight Senator Lawrence is former President Eddie Johnson Sirleaf. We know that for a fact. We know that for a fact. She's so young. She got no political name in this county. The Bromsky will all work for. The thing she's doing.
Before we get to real quick, I gotta bring it. We gotta go, and I really want to see you on Monday. I hope you can clear your schedule and come back on the show if you can. Likewise, Councilor Okpakpo, because it is important. You are now calling other folks that part of this other Musa Berete Liberty Party that is said that part of the CPP that Musa Berete they know that he working for George Manneh.
Well,
I'm going to leave it there.
Okay, so I just want to say to you, that the information I'm providing here is not from the periphery. I speak from the core, because when they came to negotiate with us, begging on their knees for Senator Lawrence to be running mate to Cummings.
And who are those again? Call their names again. Who met you guys?
Louis Brown was in that meeting. Gateway McIntosh was in that meeting. Yafa Bakbe was in that meeting. It lasted for 3 hours in the basement of Senator Lawrence house on the Old Road. So they came begging and they opened up to us. They told us that we know that Musa is a double agent. So we said, but we cannot. Yes.
Wow, I got to bring in Frygon in because we got to go. And you got to promise that you'll be back on Monday. It is interesting for us to know the truth. Nothing but the truth will help us, oh God.
We'll look at the schedule and we
you got to look at your schedule. I'm not going to wait for you to look at your schedule. It's an order. So, Minister Frygon. Mr. Frygon, wrap this thing up. The data is on. She's going to take away her show after you. Go ahead, Minister.
First thing, I'm going to close from where he stopped. And that is to say, a lot of people inboxing me right now that, oh, Berete is doing a podcast. He said when you came to Liberia, he gave you $50. You know, that kind of thing that can happen. He look at a guy coming from the States. He leaving America now, going back home after so many years. I think you gave $50 to you. All right. So I'm just saying that I know for a fact that Berete is a double agent. I was in the government. I was at one of the. I was one of the chief strategists. I was a higher up, and Berete cannot look me in my eyes and say it was not a done deal. He not even fool said. Let me put it in a brain way. He can look at me and say that's not true. So we're gonna move on. And to Madam Charlene, I already know that it's a decoy. It's an operation just like Nyomli. They didn't want Sarah Nyanti Beslow to go under the microphone, so they used her as a decoy in order not to make the mistake they made with Cummings that have gotten us to bust the whole operation, or else people would have gone. You know, Sarah Beslow is a reverend. May God touch and bless her heart. But again, the grandmaster of politics, I think, is different. And when it comes to Councillor Bromsky saying, let them go. And they did it to me, let them go. I don't see why Charlene, after her father, said these people should go away. Let God be with them. They have done so much. And then Charlene follows them? I don't want to believe it. I am still dreaming. I will never believe it. Anything you're saying, I don't believe that Charlene will disrespect her dead father. Going to the CPP thing, anybody can go visit somewhere. But to align with the three people that he named them. And they take his party and carry to Nimba, then on the other side. I will not believe it. Finally, when I look at George Weah, okay, It's like anybody here, whether it be Lamine, Daniel Sano, let them show me their 8th grade girlfriend or their 10th grade girlfriend. We all go somewhere thinking that, oh, this is what I want. This is the best. Things happen. And that's why I was able to name for them the people who were in the Unity Party that we fought against, we took over from, and then the people voted for change. None of them can debate me on that. But look at what we did. We took the foreign ministry intended for foreign policy of our country and gave it back to Madam Salif. We took the information arm of the government responsible for disseminating in a timely and orderly manner information. We gave it back to Madam Salif. We took national security. We gave it back to Madam Salif. Then we took the what we call local government structure under internal affairs. We gave it back to Madam Salif. Then we took our energy line of transportation and everything and gave it back to Madam Salif. Why then did we go for change? But I know my brother Lami will understand that that decision was not with us, or else would never happen. It was with a man we thought and we felt had come to equally bring the change that we all fought for. Not knowing that the man was a double agent when he said, I grade a woman 80%. Will you protect Madam Salif? Yes, I will protect her and I will protect her children. At that time, it was late. So again, like all others, you are a Liberian. We apologize that we brought the devil outside, but we brought the devil to dance, not to eat the people's children or burn the people's houses or destroy the people's farm. It is our responsibility to take the devil back in. And we are committed to that. We'll take the devil back in. Lastly, Stanton will tell you, I sent him a video. This Pan-African Capital Group that you're joking with, y'all leave your stuff with James so I can send it to you. Do you know that the CEO and founder of this group was like a son, even though his name is Stephen Cashin, to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf? Do you know on the video with his own mouth, he confesses of how he was nurtured by her. She was his boss. She brought him through. She did everything. Do you know? Today he saw what Liberian people can call bastard millionaire. On whose backs? On our backs. And then Eugene Nangbe will sit in studio and tell Liberian people, say, a country under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, whose budget was 80 million when she took over, that Joseph Boakai had 20 million in it. And then tell us that the people who say they payroll, they let them can show it. Where was he? Was he not in that?
Thank you, Fago. Thank you.
One of the hijackers that was he talk about.
And again, it will be interesting on Monday. We want to say, please join us on Monday. We have everybody.
So apologies to all of you, but
we have everybody. We will have everybody joining us again. We want to appreciate you, Madam Dr. Chinwe. I like to, oh boy, I want to send a special birthday. That's my closing. I'm not going to waste your time. I want to send a special birthday greeting.
You go to another friend. I want to say something, please. Okay. 10 seconds. I know they say Paul Flomo, the comedian. The man got married a traditional wedding and put it in the chat room. He got married today. But they say as they were going home, that kind of big wedding in the whole country center, as they were going home, the lady said, thank you for marrying me. He said, I was just joking.
That trouble.
The video in the chat room. Hey, click on it.
And the man said he just joking. Why he did that to the woman?
The biggest wedding in the town.
But I said it, Joe. We are telling Liberian people, you're thinking about making me president. Oh, wow, just joking. I want to think that y'all made me president. Let me send a special birthday greeting out. I don't know whether James got a picture up. We have this, one of our mother that watches this program every second. I went to the Wawa as usual to buy my coffee, Dr. Richard saying. Her little granddaughter ran to me. And the kid said, Stanton. No, she said, spoon, spoon, spoon. And I saw this person putting the little gap to herself, you know. Woozy, And the girl kept on calling spoon, 6 or 7 years old. I was kind of embarrassed. I don't know the little girl. I don't know the man. I don't know the family. So then apparently maybe her aunt by the name of Naomi, and this is the grandmother. She was in the car. So then her aunt came and said, "Oh, Stanton, thank God for you. We always watch your program. My mom is outside. She would really like to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." I have my coffee, my bagel, the water, everything. I said, "Let me put my stuff in the car." Wozie, the little girl, kept on following me. She was so happy. I went outside and I met Mother Naomi Williams. Today is her birthday.
So touching.
I want to say, yes, listen, she's a prayerful woman. She says, "Stanton, we pray for you. We pray for the show." Her daughter is a pastor. The daughter name is Naomi, likewise.
Amen.
And they are decent people. They live here in New Jersey, spend most of the time in Liberia. Today, she's celebrating her birthday. I'm not allowed to call her age, but you see, she's so beautiful, young, and strong.
She I think 19. Oh.
I think she's 19. I think she's going to 20. I want to say happy birthday to Mother Naomi Williams. If you know her, this is Sir Joseph's best friend. I'm allowed to say it's Sir Joseph's best friend. No. Listen.
That's Sir Joseph's friend, man. You can
Sir Joseph. Oh, man, you can say it, but the thing is that I don't know if I'm allowed to say the one again. The old man, Mr. Kwame supporter. But she liked me, and the family liked me, But my Naomi,
oh, Kwame supporter,
yeah, that Mr. Kwame supporter. We had a good conversation. Put a picture back up. We want to sing a happy birthday to Mother Naomi Williams.
Where the leg get picture?
The leg, I want to see the leg. No, we will not show a picture because she's 6 years old. Sometimes the family would not allow that. But yeah. But I want to sing a happy birthday song to my Naomi Williams. We want to say, may God bless you and thank God that you stay moving strong. And we want to say the grace of God upon you, the blessing of God will remain with you, and you will see your great grand to God see a fate. To God see a fate. But I want to say to you, we're going to sing that happy birthday song to you. We're going to celebrate you today. Thank you, Mother Naomi Williams, for being a constant and faithful follower on Spoon Network and on the Spoon Talk. Y'all want to join me? Let's sing a happy birthday song to
are we closing now? Because I will have something to say.
Yeah. No, I just want to do this, and Dr. Richardson, you can take over. You're going to close us.
Thank you.
So I just want to say a happy birthday. I don't know who can sing, but I will try to sing this one. If you can join me, please. If you cannot sing, that's okay. But I will say, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mother Naomi. Happy birthday to. May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you. May God bless you, Mom. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mother Naomi, and the grace and peace of God be with you. And I want to say that this is from your daughter, Naomi, and she wishes you well. I know you guys are eating right now. You guys are celebrating. You guys have fun.
May I be your best friend.
All right. You know me, I can say, Dr. Richardson, take your show away, and it was fun. It was fun today. We bless everybody.
Sure, we don't have enough time here to close, I believe. I'm not sure where I met you guys, but I needed to say something. And what I like to say is I want to appeal to Liberian women. You've been hearing news from different avenues. You've heard, majority of men are conniving. They will say that people met in this place, in a tree, in houses, in basements, wherever. Okay, and they are talking about one specific group, but they are not talking about the other group who were also at the meeting. It takes two to cause a problem or to come to a decision in our country. So you women, I'm appealing to you to please rise up and make the best decision for Liberians. When I say the best decision, find a leader that will let us win in many ways. I enjoy what Charlene Bronsky had to say. She wanted to put away with divisive politics. Some of these people have been around for so long. One government can't just stay there. They're following behind different people from, time immemorial. It is time for us to stop looking for our personal gains and look for what is going to be in the best interest of our country. I hear them talking. When you ask them when the last did you work outside of government or you did anything else, I don't hear what they have done outside of government. Yes, I like Charlene. I like Yumble. I like the women of Liberia. All of them have different skills.
Nobody hates Charlene, yo.
I think you want to come back Monday, huh?
Oh, Daniel, she's doing her closing. We got to give her a chance to close.
Okay. Yes. So yes, I like the women of Liberia. They all have different strengths and different characteristics. Okay. And we are now calling for unity in our country. And Charlene said CPP will win. They will win again. Good governance. That's what we are looking for. We are looking for good governance that will look out for the people of Liberia, for healthcare, for education. Like somebody said today, our children should stop selling in the streets. They should stop being overage. If you people who are there all the time, who go to these different meetings, I wish you are having these meetings to discuss these things about healthcare, about the children. Instead of going to a meeting, then you're coming on and saying this person that decoy, this person, where you expose this person. You expose our healthcare, expose our education, expose yourself. What have you done? Expose yourself. It's getting to me. It's really getting to me. I'm unsettled. So at this point, that is my closing. I'm calling on Liberian women to rise up, because you see what's happening. Rise up, and thank you, Center, for giving me the opportunity to close.
I think we are done, Dr. Richardson. You can wrap it up. I'm not hearing you, Doctor. You muted.
May I close you?
Okay, Fadiga, you want to close?
Oh, you close here, Fadiga? All right, go ahead.
Well,
go ahead, Fadiga.
I want to close.
Wozie, have you closed? Wozie, I thought we did close it. Oh, you guys did it? All right, but then you guys can close Daniel Sando. You can close in, Dr. Richardson. You can take us home. I thought it was a closing. I didn't know. Yes, sorry. Yeah, thank you. So let's just wait. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know who want to. Well, I can go since I listened to that Charlene video. This is my second time listening to the video. I'm from Grand Bassa, so the politics in Grand Bassa. I made a couple of posts on my personal Facebook page advising Madam Bronsky. I don't know what she intend to gain from this thing, but when I look at that Councillor Bronsky, I see a bright future ahead of her. And if she's not mindful how she carried herself this 2023, she could either go back 4 to 5 more years to wait in line. What I think will be the best decision, and I've cautioned her so many times, is to continue to pursue her representative ambition. I think she should have done everything to mend fences with Nyombri and the rest of the folks in Bikeno, forge some alliance and go on to become the best representative of Grand Bassa County. Show the Bassodian what she can do, build on their legacy, and probably move on up. And then gradually, there is a seat at the table for her, at the head of the table. But if she decides to roll the dice or gamble with a political future, I think this is it for her. I mean, she still has some time ahead to catch up, but it's going to hurt her politically. I don't know. She was never the first or the second choice for this CPP. They play around, and at the final analysis, they want to look at her as the second choice. Whether it's somebody else, I don't know. If she's a decoy, fine. But from every indication, it looked like it's going to be her. If it is not her, fine. But I don't think that she should accept this. I don't think that she should take this, whatever it is that they have to offer, for especially a team that will eventually lose. The CPP doesn't have any chance in this election, given what we know. Mr. Cummings will need a miracle to win at this point. I still believe that he's squandered a lot of opportunities in the last 5 years. And 5 months to the election, I don't think they're going to recover. So if she decides to just join a ticket just to lose and just be, oh yeah, we ran one time in 2023 to be a vice president to Alex Cummings, then fine. If that's the legacy she want to leave, fine. But if she actually want to do something and actually secure a legacy for herself or carry on her dad's legacy, I think she need to mend fences with Nyomri and the rest of the Liberty Party, bring Liberty Party together, even if it's not at this time, but she need to go to that election, making peace and try to win it. But anything else, I think she will lose. It's a lose for her. It's a loss for her, I mean. And that's my closing.
Yes. Who's next? Was it Sando?
Can I come in?
Yes, please come in.
I just wanted to add that the 2023 presidential and legislative elections has been reduced to a two-horse race. For all of the numerical permutation that we've done on the ground, it's either Bouaka wins or George Weah wins. If now in the first ballot, the second round is going to be between Bouaka and Weah. And I've said to many of my friends in my cycle and beyond that given what has happened to this country, there's a general consensus amongst Liberians, including Seditians, that Weah has to be a one-term president. That being said, I do believe that a vote for Cummings is a vote for George Weah indirectly, because that vote stops Bouaka from winning. The way to go about it is not to waste our vote. It is now obvious beyond all indication that he's not going to win. And at this point, that's why I'm calling on my sister. You cannot be trying to protect your father's legacy and be silent with those who want to destroy it. We serve Councillor Bromsky. He was political leader, founding father. If he were to resurrect from the dead today, I would still campaign for him because I do believe in his vision for Liberia. What Berete has done to the Liberty Party is beyond human imagination. You cannot be professing to protect your father's legacy and you're working with Berete. It is absolutely wrong. Everybody say the same thing about her. She has a very bright future. She just needs to take it easy and make the right political choice. Okay? It is our party. We have worked. We have laid down our life, our youthful life, to get the party to where it is. We feel trouble for what Berete has done. And we don't believe that Councillor Bromsky's daughter should be the enabler of Mr. Berete. No. So the election is eventually going to settle down to a two-horse race. All our friends who want to vote for Cummings, that vote for Cummings is a distraction. Let us come together. If we all decide to vote for Ambassador Bouaka, Cummings is a good man, but can he win the election? No, he cannot win. Voting for him will be an exercise in futility. Let's give it up for Bouaka. Let's remove George Weah and get the country working again. I was happy to be here, and I look forward to also being here again on Monday. Thank you, Mr. Waterspoon, and thank you, Dr. Chinaway. It's always good interacting with you.
Thank you, Sando. Thanks a lot.
Well, quickly, Commisano, I'm afraid the moderator may likely not invite you because of your very strong view.
I don't want to be the one to say it. I don't want to be the one to say it.
So if I don't receive the invite from Monday down, I'll know the exact reason why.
Well, I'm already just giving you a heads up. She may like it to provide your name. Your son don't know how to pronounce, so I didn't know how to.
What's it? You're going driving soon and give me you.
All right, so
Tina was a good woman. I'm not too sure she'll be personal about the things we say. We don't
okay.
see a better like that.
All right, thank God for you. Let her consult her police and amount. They come up with a verdict, then you will know.
Oh, Salamatu na bad girl.
All right, then. So, but actually, this conversation has been a very wonderful one. But on a serious note, the 2023 elections is actually going to be a serious one, and but you cannot rule out the possibility of President we are getting re-elected. He has this what I call special. I try to be a little bit religious grace of fooling people, even when you think the people are against him. So if any group of people want to unseat him, they got to be very serious. But President Weah is somebody many people call, some people consider a miracle child. At the time you think you will not survive, that is how you can make comeback. So it's important for those of you in the opposition. You got to decide your own fate. But you never tell the way Liberian people think sometimes with the Liberian people. But with the CDC side, the CDC needs to reconcile with itself. There is so much disenchantment and the high risk that could likely lead to a loss at the battle box will be to sit down and create the upside impression that everything is okay when we all know that everything is not okay. There is witch hunt in the party, so much power struggle, hate and hypocrisy, fakery, everything going on there. People have created clusters. They got their own people that they're protecting in government against seditions. There is a division of who real sedition, who not seditions. All those things are bubbling. It's just like in 1989, right? We used to live in Bonjama, the capital city of Lofa. When rumors about the wars are coming, the AFL right by the barracks where my father built his house, every time they used to warm up for the war. 90% of those who used to be warming up for the war, they never fire one gun. We met them in Guinea as refugees. So what does that mean? None of the African leaders get deceived either by the military or by people around them who are politically very insignificant. They got zero contribution. All they got to do is say, hail the leader and tell him you are doing well. Even if somebody is killed overnight, say, yeah, Mr. President, you are doing well. Even if the person decides to abandon their job and do something different, they say you are doing well. All they want, once you can protect their job as the president or protect those who they recommend to you to get job, that's finished. If you abandon your citizens or your partisans, they don't care. President Weah got a lot of those people within his proximity, and that is a high risk factor for him remaining as president beyond 2023. So it's either you decide to fix your house or to give out the presidency. Seditions in the diaspora are disenchanted. Seditions back home are disenchanted. But yet, create the impression, the propaganda impression, that everything is okay. I'm not one person who is noted for dancing to those kinds of fakery, and I don't care about it. They've been sending me messages, calling me opposition, calling me non-seditions. What have I benefited? We serve this president with open heart, clearly, free of charge. So when I express my opinion, it's sincere because I didn't recommend anybody that President Weah gave job to. And neither am I trying to protest something besides being very fair to myself and to the party. So thank you very much. And appreciate this conversation.
Thank you, Ozzy. I hope to see you again whenever you are available to join us and continue to speak about your deal with CDC and your need for a better Liberia. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is that, I've been to Liberia several times within a year. And every time that I go, I ask people, have you taken any survey asking you who you want to be the president for Liberia October 10th? And everybody can tell me so far that nobody ever went to ask them any questions. I was in Nimba, I was in Bon County, I was in Kakata, I was in ERW Road, I was in Single, I asked. So when people come here and come and say, oh, they have had surveys and the surveys have predicted that Joseph Boakai is going to win, or George Weah is going to win, or Cummings is going to win, they are all just telling us their views. They want to sell their candidates here. They are not interested in the betterment for Liberia. And it's okay. It's okay for them to share their views. Nobody muffed that prayer book. So I want to lastly say that. Secondly, I'm kind of offended when I hear people say somebody should wait in line, wait for their time. So everybody did I have democracy where we should be waiting in line for somebody to be president and what? If somebody is qualified and they want to get in the race, that is their choice. That is their democratic constitutional right to do so. And we have to respect that. And lastly, I'm also offended when people kind of say, oh, we want to tell Charlene to wait for her time. We want to tell her to do this. Charlene is a woman of her own. She's a responsible, smart, intelligent, educated woman who's been around and exposed. She can make that decision on her own, whether she want to join Mr. Cummings, whether she doesn't want to, whether she want to remain running aspirant in Bassett County. She can do that on her own. So let us leave this woman. James, you laughing? You want to on something that maybe we can shut yourself down or remove yourself as you do what you're doing over there. Yeah, so please allow Charlene to be Charlene. Allow her to participate in the political space and do whatever she wants to do, and stop talking to her like she's your child or you have authority or the audacity to tell her what to do. And that's all I have to say. On that note, I will say good night. You guys can go on and do what you need to do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, folks. Thank you, James.
All right, folks. See you all tomorrow. This is how we love to climax today's edition. The team will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Liberian time. Until then, my name is James Goodell Flomo. Have yourself a great time. Bye-bye.